Hello, hello. I'm awake. My eyes have been open. Hey, Skeleseller. Hey, Kevin. It is Wednesday, and I am slightly remiss to say that yesterday, due to a number of reasons, pretty much no other work happened after the stream. So, unfortunately, there's some stuff I wanted to do that I didn't get done. None of it's super critical, but still, I feel like every hour matters at this point. So, the plan for today, Adam is going to finish the release tool that he's been working on to make it easier to launch the playtest version of Skeleseller. Then he's going to, I guess, make a cheat menu for playtesters. And maybe I should say C playtest. After that, there are a million random tasks that he may take on. Yeah. Okay, new videos. Actually, when was a Bobo Knows? When was their video? Because both this person and Brag Apple both made videos. And I don't think I wrote it in the today command from yesterday. No, so Miss Spooks. Okay, so let's go copy their video. And then let's get Brag Apple's video. Brag Apple. Here it is. Okay. There are two new videos about Skeleseller from YouTubers. This and this. Cool. Does this all fit? It does, but it's quite long. I wonder if we should trim this a bit. I was going to finish the release tool. I'm going to make a cheat menu for playtesters. After that, there are a million random tasks. I'll just say missed tasks. There are two new videos about two new Skeleseller videos from various YouTubers. Yeah, that way it doesn't sound like they're mine. Okay, so there's the command. Hey, Cubic. Hey, Tongue Man. Hey, Smoo. It is a lot of work. Cheat menu, that's my kind of thing now. Yeah, this is for the playtesters so they don't have to keep reforming all of the scenarios that they might be working on. But AI is doing all the work for you? That's true. Yeah. I want to see if that was a Balatro thing or just a Joker. Yeah, so like I said, we had a couple of videos. So this person got 3,000 views already on their video. I think that's very impressive. And then Brag Apple just released their video an hour ago. They have more than no views, but it's been pretty recent. Now, with that said, I am very impressed by how many new people this all brought in already. So if I show this, for example, we have 14 people playing the game right now. Like, this is kind of like the numbers we were seeing during Next Fest, and it's all just from YouTubers covering it. So this is definitely valuable. The number of wish lists we got yesterday was plus 120 minus 2. So a net gain of 118. But plus 120 is like one of the biggest individual bumps that I've seen. And the only ones that come close are the festivals that happen. And I guess the Twitch front page. So the Twitch front page was plus 100 wish lists. And I don't remember if that was the net or the gross, but still 118 from, you know, an average, whatever it was Tuesday yesterday. That's pretty good. So I got to reach out to way more YouTubers. But it's also showing that the game is good enough to these people for them to want to play it. So it's a combination of factors all around. But yeah, these numbers are looking healthier. And then the other thing is the wish list count. This is currently at 2461. So it's going up. We need this to be as high as it can be. And yeah, but this was mostly due to YouTubers talking about it. It's always difficult to know because someone might have streamed on Twitch and just not had Skeleseller in their title, and they might have had whatever 10,000 viewers, and that's the reason we're getting all of this traffic. I don't think it was that. In this case, we do know that there were a couple of YouTube videos that were released, and this one person having, you know, 3,000 viewers and generally being the target audience. This person does indie games. They liked the game, so they were complimenting it. I think it's probably mostly coming from that. But yeah, it wouldn't really be easy to know if it were coming from somewhere else. Okay, so we're working on this, and we're going to continue working on this. This point is to run the export and upload. Maybe it asks if you upload to itch. Okay, let's go do that. So release tool.cs. We have upload to itch right here. And this should only really happen. This should pretty much only happen for the demo right now. In fact, I don't even think we needed to ask to upload to itch. I think it should just, well, maybe it should ask. And maybe it's only for the demo. Okay, yeah, let's go code that. So upload tools.ask. We'll take in the logger and the flavor of the build. And then we'll copy this. I should probably do all this on another branch because I have some other cleanup stuff. Make a new branch for this while I clean things up. Yeah, anyway, like I said, I was a little bit remiss that I did not continue working yesterday. And it was a myriad of factors that led to that. But what are you going to do? Okay, so do you want to upload to itch? So this should only happen if the flavor is the demo. If flavor equals build flavor.demo. Actually, how about this? If it's not equal to the demo, then let's have it print itch uploads are only available for the demo flavor. Yeah, that's good. And then do you want to upload to itch? Default choice can be true. And if you haven't done it, then we say that we skipped it. And then we call upload to itch. Now this does not have a build flavor that's needed, but it probably does need the logger here. And it should be pretty straightforward. Okay, so we don't need this. So let's go see what upload to itch does. It makes sure that Butler is in the path. I don't know how to do this from C#. C# run program in path. It might just be by default, but it might be that you need to always specify a relative or an absolute path to it. How to run a program. Man. Get application folder path. That's not what I want to do. Well, I guess we could just try it. Yeah, we could just try running Butler. Okay, let's do that. Because maybe it'll just work. So what does this do? We had a temporary directory. We don't even need that. We just need to do these things with the right paths. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to run Butler and do -- help. Yeah, and it prints a bunch of stuff. So now let's try running that from here. So we'll just delete all of this stuff. And we're going to run Butler -- help. And failed to upload to itch. Otherwise successfully uploaded to itch. I don't even know if we should use the logger for this. We try to use colorful stuff. Okay, so let's try this out. This isn't going to do anything, but let's go test it. So upload tools, upload to itch, logger. Whoops, there. Okay. Has some code that handles when the executable can't be found. But what I'm wondering is just typing Butler enough? Will it check the path variable? Or will C# not do that to try to be safe about something, let's say? So that's what I want to figure out from this. If it's not found, that's fine. It says it ran it, yeah. So then I think this worked. Let's print out the output. Huh, that's easy. Should be enough. Oh, that's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that. We're already doing that for Git. So yeah, of course it would work. Well, it's nice that it does that. Strangely, there is no output for this. I wonder if it's printing through error. I think some programs do that for their help text. Yes, it is. Okay, that's fine. All right, cool. So then we just need to run this stuff. In order to know this, we need to go through all three of these flavors, and these things need to be, what is this? Extonomist / Skeleseller : Mac. Extonomist must be pulled from my account. Skeleseller must be pulled from the app. Then where is Mac pulled from? Did I write this, or was this something that was already there? I don't remember. Yeah, this might be an itch thing. All right, itch IO Butler. I don't recall. Upload builds, installing, upgrading, logging in, pushing builds, channel names. If it, oh, yep. Okay. So this is just built into itch. Okay. So then we should write this down to talk about that. Okay. So butler push. This is going to be path to zip. And then the, what do you call this? Channel name. Pushing builds, user game channel. I guess target maybe. Okay. So now the path to the zip, this needs to be done for each individual build flavor. Or platform, not flavor. What am I talking about? So we must have a second thing here. We don't. I guess we just do this down here. That's fine. Okay. Do the same thing. And path to build output, it's pretty similar there, huh? Maybe we want something in common between both of these. We don't need this to be written. All right, so path to build output. All right, to do, make a constant out of this. Same thing with this down here. So we get the export path, which is this, the zip file that we have, which is there. That's good. Maybe we should just have it fetch us the whole, like the location on disk for this. Export directory name. Let's get the directory name of that so that they get the zip file name. So we split these. We don't need to split these. Yeah, we don't need to split these. Max. Yeah. Okay, good. So then don't do that. That's a zip path. You need to make sure it exists. Then we delete that and delete this and run this stuff. Okay, so path to zip is this. And then the target is going to be something that is always pretty similar here. So we're going to say string target equals, or like base target, extonomist / Skeleseller, colon. And then we need the platform tag at the end, which is either lowercase Mac, Win, or Linux, which I don't think we have written anywhere. No, we don't. We technically have it here, and these happen to match, but that's just a coincidence. So we can't use that. So let's do another one of these things. And we'll say itch.io channel names. Yeah. So we just delete that. And then we say channel name here, get this, and we're done. We go use it over here. So this is going to be base, I guess, channel. No, that's not a channel name. So string target is equal to just this. No, that's just the channel name. What am I doing? Yeah, so it is base target plus that. Okay. Okay, then we push to that. Yep, that should do it. The successfully uploaded to itch part of this, we should probably throw an exception from here. Failed to upload to itch for platform. Yeah, and then down here, successfully uploaded all builds to itch. All right. So testing that is going to be a little bit dangerous because it will just automatically upload and there is no second step we need to do. So how about we just do something really basic here? How about this? Let's just print out what the command is that we would have run. Oh, wait, there might be a dry run thing for this. Is there? No. At least I don't see something. Dry, no. Is there a way to do this? Pushing builds. No, I don't think so. What happened to the big cursor? Let me go turn that back on. Engage privacy mode. I think I turned it off for a video. So I will set it back to normal, which is very large. All right, disengage. Hey, Athena. can make a different private test game on itch really quick. I think what I'll do is I'll just wait until we have a build we want to publish, which shouldn't take too long. It'll maybe be the next few days. And call process tools that run with reporting to skip the logging part. But run with reporting is always going to print it out, right? I only want to print it out. Oh, it's only if it's not equal to 0. Okay, never mind. But I also wanted to throw an exception. Although this does return the exit code, so I guess I can do both. Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. We're so back, so back. Okay, I'll write this down as a thing that we can do later in the cleanup stuff. All right, as mentioned, what we're going to do is we're going to test to make sure that this works. So we're going to do a logger.log information, uploading zip path. I don't want this. I want just butler push zip path target. There. And then delete this. Okay, let's try that out. Wait, this needs a flavor here, doesn't it? Oh, asks to upload to itch. Okay, let's go test that. And build flavor is going to be, let's just have it be set to playtest. It should not be able to upload the playtest. So if I run this, it should just say can't upload to itch. That's totally fine. It says itch uploads are only available for the demo flavor. Totally good. Okay, so let's set this to demo, and now it should ask us. And if we say no, it shouldn't do it. So whoops. I say no. Skipping itch. Okay, good. Now what happens if I say yes? Butler push. Okay, so let's copy all of this. So this set of commands should equal this set of commands. So let's delete that stuff. And the only difference is the ... is just assumed here. Oh, this is capitalized. Did I capitalize it on disk? Yes. So did I write that in lowercase here? I did. Okay. Oh, then that's a problem. It's actually not going to matter for this operating system, but it might in the future if we're running on some case sensitive one. It is case insensitive, so it's fine in this case, but still I'd like that to be proper because in Git it's checked in with a capital. So okay, now if we look at that, and if we were to replace the ... with this, then these should now match exactly. That one does, and that one does. Yeah, cool. They're all the same. Hey, Pressel. And learns foreign languages in 30 days live. Happy Wednesday. I learn every foreign language in 30 days. Or your money back. Every language. Name a language. That's not every language. Not that one that you just named. Everyone but that one. Okay, cool. So now we put this back, and we don't need to log this anymore. And then we cannot run this. So let's be careful about that. Hey, Hefe. Loved your demo? Ranger is a beast at fishing. It's funny. A lot of people use the archer for that, but then I was watching, I think it was a Bobo play, and I think they use the witch doctor from time to time. And what's it called? Zombie horde or bursting horde? That's actually pretty good too. Well, I do think the archer is probably the best. Hey, Knowledge. Hey, Knowledge, I wanted to ask you, what brought you back to Twitch? Or if you're already on Twitch, what brought you back to the stream? Hey, Codex. Which doctor did they use? Yes. Hey, Kojin. Okay, so now this is done. We have it asking about itch. So now all of this should be good. How about this? Let's put a boolean here. Export just Mac version. A const boolean that we could change equals false. And then here we can say if export just Mac version, then put this here. Otherwise, do this. Saw someone wrote an iLogger implementation that uses Spectre. So use that as a logger if you want to be consistent. At this point, I don't think I care. I think I just want to be done with this because yeah, I don't think the proper code is going to matter much for this. And the game is going well. I was just mentioning earlier, we've had a couple of, yeah, if you take a look at the today command that Oppressal just typed in, so no need to type it again. But these two videos were done by YouTubers in the last 24 hours, maybe 36 hours. And they brought a significant amount of eyes onto the game. Give me a better user experience of watching streams. And again, out of curiosity, what is the better experience there? No problem, I predicted that. Thank you. Do you have a final price for the release in mind already? So I'm targeting something like $10 right now. That's the target. What that'll probably mean, I should say average target. So like, let's say the game launches at $15 and there's a sale that brings it down to 12. And then over the lifespan of the game, it ends up being like $12 with a sale of $8 or something like that. So I wanted to average probably 10 for the lifespan of the game. Remember that Steam takes a 30% cut. So necessarily, if you're pricing it at $10, you're not getting more than $7. And even the $7 you're not getting because of taxes. So realistically, every sale of the game is leading to like $5 or something. Or every game sold, I should say. Instead of using sale to mean something else here. Yeah, anyway, this is part of, I've talked about the economics of game dev a lot before, but this is part of why it's nuts to be in game dev. It's a ludicrous amount of work. There's some luck involved. You're dealing with gamers. Tastes change very rapidly. Rapidly still being over the course of years, but I mean, that's still something you have to account for given the games take years to make sometimes. And then, yeah, all of that so that you can get a slice of the pie, maybe, if your game is good. No interruptions. Gotcha. Okay, cool. Thanks for answering that, Knowledge. The information learned from this course I teach, learn to predict every possible life scenario. Man. You know, the thing is, if someone, every once in a while I hear of something like this, not this specifically where it's like predict the future, but it's something like I have a stock prediction tool and they're like, I'll sell it to you and it's whatever, let's say $100 or $1,000. If you had a tool that worked with a greater than, let's say 60% accuracy, you wouldn't be selling the tool. You'd just be using it and making like infinite money. So that's how you can pretty much be certain those things won't work. So I'm very suspicious of this Oppressal person. It's a high cut for something that costs a lot to even post games on. Well, a lot to post games on, $100, I think is what you're talking about. I don't think that's all that high, given the other costs that go into game dev. Like, it's probably rare to find someone who has the resources to make a game and then can't afford the $100. And then Steam gives you that back if you make $1,000. So if you do believe in your game, you could look at it as like a short loan almost to Steam. If you don't believe in your game, then you probably wouldn't want to pay the price to begin with. Usually expect them to provide 20 plus hours of gameplay. Yeah, and I mentioned this before, but there was another Twitch streamer who streamed the game, and I was like, oh, hey, thanks for playing. Like, I'll share a key with you when the game launches. And they said, like, yeah, I'll probably check it out, but just to be transparent, I don't plan on making it my main game. And I thought the concept of Skeleseller as a main game, it just doesn't exist in my mind. And for a lot of game developers, I don't think it existed. Like Hearthstone, maybe they made this with the idea that it would become like a, hey, people are going to play for 5 hours a day, but I really doubt it. I think they knew that those people must have existed, but that it wouldn't be their target audience. Whereas something like League of Legends, I think they do want you to just be playing all the time. And that's their ideal state. So yeah, Skeleseller was never made to be like, oh, play for 4 hours today, 4 hours tomorrow, 4 hours the next day. And it's like, you're going to beat the game if you do that. And then hopefully you'll have had fun. But yeah. Built his YouTube community first and sold his product with an already warmed up audience. I don't know about what the Nine Kings developer did, but I will say this: streaming on YouTube and Twitch is not really such a powerful force for marketing. I think at the end of the day, your game needs to be good. And it's not that I had nothing from this. I think from streaming on Twitch, I probably got about, let's say, like 1,500 wish lists over the course of 7 months, maybe. I'm kind of estimating some things here. There were other sources of wish lists, and so it's like, yeah, that's good. It's just, that's not like gonna make the game. Yeah. Okay. So it says this is unreachable because technically it is thanks to this. I don't know the right way we would do this. And I don't even know if this is necessary. But I wanted to have something here that will let us do this. I mean, what if we just... Okay, that'll work. This is just for myself to be able to export just the Mac version. Do I even care about this though? When would I ever do this? I guess it depends on if we have this script still, which I think I wrote. Figure out what we want to do with that, and maybe good to just have a way to export the way we do for release. Maybe it should be release tool handling that. You know what? If we want this, I think what we should do is we should code it when we want it. That way we're not just doing this ahead of time. Okay, and then all of these can just have that. Yeah. So, not bad. Seen tools that need more coverage to work better. Yeah, but then they can't probably promise results. Also, with a speculative market, you can never promise results. And also, I make this sound like I've heard this a bunch of times. I heard this from one person, and it was actually in real life. It wasn't like it was a marketing email. A person that I met face to face told me something like, yeah, I have a stock tool that can make tons of money. And I was like, do you? Maybe they do. Maybe, yeah. Do specific things that you're doing. Yeah, and that's part of why I want to wait on doing anything prematurely here, because maybe we never use that feature. It just becomes more to code now, more to maintain later. Free ebook, $797. What a nice round price. Okay, so I think we can check this in, and then I think we can go work on basically everything else that's here. I really, really want to get this done today. I'm just bummed about yesterday not being what I wanted it to be at the end of all of everything. All right, so git checkout -b add, or like make release tool. Release tool. That's all the bot. Still works with us. Hasn't mentioned his bot at all recently. Oh, it's kind of sad. Like when there's a lot of bravado behind it, yeah, you feel like, oh, I want to watch this person fail. But then once they've failed and they're not talking about it anymore, you're like, oh, I want this person to succeed. Okay, this should have just added the one project file, right? Yep, that looks good. In fact, let's just click the plus button every time we think something looks good. This also looks good. Maybe, can we write a comment in here? Does that work? Test. Actually, yes, it definitely works because we already had them in there. So I can explain why this is here. This is so that the console is interactive, since release tool prompts the user. Okay, now that looks good. Project.TODO, this should not have actually changed, so let's just revert that. Oh, in fact, did I need to revert that myself? I think I do need to revert that myself. I don't remember what we said about that. And I had it written down somewhere, but now I think I've closed that tab. Yeah, I have. Oh, it was yesterday. Oh, I wrote this here. I don't think the version will matter for us at all, and we'll have the commit history. We can look back and forward at any point to find the nearest versions. So it'll just say placeholder. So if it says placeholder, then that means we need to revert it back to saying placeholder at the end. So write code that will revert project.Godot back to saying placeholder, or probably all caps, placeholder. Hey, Grim. Hopefully you're well. How's the game going? It's going well. Yeah, we've been making good progress. In short, for anyone who wants to catch up on the very brief timeline here. So Next Fest was June 9th. I'm not going to write this in an international format. June 9th to June 16th. And I was putting a lot of eggs in this basket. And it paid off like decent to good. So we got, I don't know, 400 or 450 wish lists. I was hoping it'd be higher. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The biggest lesson learned is that I need to market more. And then the other biggest lesson was the game is probably fine. So like these are kind of the same lesson. Beforehand, I was worried, okay, what if people don't find the game fun? I think people find the game fun. So now it's work toward launch and market. Those are the main goals. So part of working toward launch is what we're doing today, which I will share the command for that. All right, so feature tags no longer needs this because we changed how this works. I should probably just check in the changes to feature tags then, which is to get rid of the logger. But it was only done in service of these other things, so I guess let's just check it all in together. All right, build flavors. This is brand new. Actually, all of this is brand new except for this. This is to fix a bug. We should check this in on its own, actually. And then delete this. And probably just get rid of this too. Is there a space there? I can't tell. I don't think there is. Why didn't it complain about this being too close to the curly brace then, I wonder? How many people are working on this project, or is it just solo? So there are 5 people working on it. I'm waiting for this command to actually print out. There we go. Yeah. So there's a document here that shares all the people who are working on it. So 4 people listed here, and then myself, of course. As a gamer, I get the passion behind that. Yeah, you know, I guess I never really thought about this. There's passion on both sides of the gaming equation. People make the games with passion, and then people play the games with passion. It's probably not true of a lot of industries. Maybe it's more one-sided in other ones. Or there's just no passion. maybe like you go to a lawyer, it's a job for them. It's a task for you. But maybe if you're in love with your lawyer, we let Adam contribute sometimes too. I'm just a cheerleader. Okay, so this should be checked in on its own. Begin error read line. So this is fix a deadlock. Fix deadlock in launching process. C. Oh, where is that? C# process deadlock reading standard out. There was a page and it was on the Microsoft official documentation. I want to find that. Maybe this. They use the word deadlock right on the page. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so remarks. Let's copy a link to this specifically. See that. Cool. Hey, Shiny Fox, did you ever code in Unity? Yeah, I have. Probably only for like a few months over my lifetime. I think the first time I used it was... I don't remember when, actually. Anyway, sometime before 2015. And then I used it for a little bit in 2015 when I was sort of in between jobs, kind of. And then I used it again briefly in like 2020. So yeah, I've probably used it for a total of like 2 or 3 months in my entire life. What's weird is there's no way to wrap this, I guess. Yeah, because it's a link. The solution shouldn't be checked in for this. So it's just this that we want to check in. Yeah, it had to do with how we read standard out and standard error. Okay, cool. This fanfic. The answer is yes. Did you see what happened with a game called Mind Eye? They're now letting off the dev as the game went very bad on launch with a lot of bugs. I did not. Letting off the dev, the concept to me of there was one developer and we let them go would suggest that this was a company that made this game and now they're going to hire another developer to make it better. Otherwise, I don't think it really makes sense for you to lose a developer for a game that's already failed. But yeah, that's part of what I say about the volatility of gaming, really entertainment in general. Taste today will not be the same as taste tomorrow. Someone might beat you to market. And you might just not be doing things that great to begin with. So you have all the normal product woes that might plague anything, even a standard business-to-business product. All right, so yeah, now that these are all new, what we can do is we can just look at them in the editor completely and just see what do we have here. So this I think is straightforward enough. I don't think we need a comment or anything for that. This is, what is the flavor map? So this is what the user will type. This is what the user will choose from. Wait, why do we even have this? This is only used for here. We probably don't need this to be. Yeah, we probably don't need to save this. It's only done once. So let's just put it in that function. Flavor map. Yeah, if we ever needed to extract it out, that'd be fine. All right, so dictionary, flavor map. There we go. All right, this technically corresponds to the pre-release component in Semver, i.e. the part after the hyphen, e.g. 1.2.3 dash demo. The spec says a pre-release version indicates the version is unstable, but we're ignoring that for release builds just for the sake of easy tooling. Great, yeah, sure, fine, sounds good. Do you ever feel a difference with Godot purely in terms of coding? I've used Godot for much longer than Unity now. If I have maybe 2 to 3 months of experience with Unity, I have probably like 16, 18 months with Godot. Maybe a little more, I'm not sure, but yeah, about that. So it's hard for me to even remember what coding in Unity was like, and it's probably changed a lot. So I really can't comment too much on that. Hey, Wanakis. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, this looks good. These are the Godot features that get injected into the custom features tag and export presets.cfg. They control what's available in the game. Okay. Tag name, tag features. Tag name should probably be up here. Or we just put all the dictionaries next to each other. Yeah, I think that's fine. All right, and then prompt for build flavor. Let's look at this one. So we present all the choices. If you pick release, we say that's too bad, you can't do that. Looks good, yeah. All right, happy with this file. Let's look at the next one, Godot tools. So what do we have for this? I think I started to look at this. These need to match the names that show in Godot project export. Let's go look at that really fast. Godot project export. On the left side under presets. So how about we say these need to match the preset names that show, but they don't need to contain runnable. They don't need to contain. Why don't they need to contain runnable? I guess Godot adds that on top of whatever you do because you check this or not. Yeah, they don't need to contain runnable. Runnable. That's just something Godot adds for display. Or not even they don't need to. I guess they just shouldn't. Okay, next. These need to match the export paths that show in Godot project export. So that is here. And path is capitalized. Yeah, that sounds good. And then let's do this the same way we did with the other one, which is that we put all the dictionaries next to each other and then all of the functions to fetch from those dictionaries next to each other. Yeah, so that looks good. All right, now what's this last one here? These need to match. We already looked at that. I thought there were 3. Oh, this is just a bad comment. Oh, my bad. Okay, so these... Didn't I have a to-do item saying to put the comment in the right spot? Maybe it was an upload tool. Yeah, there it is. All right, now where'd that thing go? Godot tools. See channel names. These are decided by itch.io. Hey, Roten. TODO. Flavor map shouldn't have an underscore. I think the linter may not be running in these projects. Static read only. Okay. Probably none of these should have it, right? Oh, no, never mind. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the thing I already added. Yeah, this. Okay, let's check that in. Good. All right, anything unusual here? Export all platforms, export platforms. So what is it doing? Finding Godot. So this needs to exist, and there's no way of knowing this needs to exist until it tries using it. And this, I guess it's gonna error pretty early on. But still, I'll just write it to do item here. Ensure this exists at the launch of the program. Why is the on-screen celebration $100? What are you talking about? Can you share a picture by any chance? Because I'm curious if I can just turn that off. Yeah, these things we got to make constants out of. The power-ups? I should have that off, though. Hang on, let me look at this really fast. I try to turn off almost all of these things. Combos? Combos are off. What are power-ups? Oh, because I can't turn this off. So I set it to a ridiculously high price so that people didn't ever try to use it. I think that's what that's about. Let me see if I don't even know where you do this. The Twitch settings are always baffling. Where this stuff even is. Power-ups, here it is. Yeah, so here's the view that I get for this. There's just power-ups, and if I click edit, there's no turning this off. So I set the redemption time to as high as possible. I set the limit to 1 per stream. No one's ever used this, but I'd love to just turn this off completely. And you can't do that. Yeah, you can't do that. I like them. I don't even know what they are. I don't like monetization features on for a lot of this stuff. In fact, I had subscriptions turned off on my stream, and then Twitch changed their monetization and just re-enabled them without me actually having a say in the process. I'm like, all right, well, I'm getting back to streaming eventually anyway. I might as well just leave them on. Okay, so we have some to-do items here. This can also be changed, but that's also a to-do item that I have on my to-do list. So let's not worry about that for right now either. The README. Thanks, Mars. Thanks for the bits. This is to simplify and semi-automate the process of releasing builds. When writing this tooling, we didn't use any git tags. Or, well, we hadn't used any git tags. Well, there's one caveat to that, and that's here. I didn't want to manage adding tags. I didn't want the code to manage adding tags for the first time, since we would only ever be in that state once. So I manually tagged the current commit with all the build flavor tags in a version. Okay, yeah, that looks good. Release tool, how's this looking? Yeah. CS Proj, don't care about this. Upload tools. So we just wrote this. This is looking fine. This is ask to upload to Steam. Do you want to upload to Steam? If you say yes, then actually call upload. The upload itself, we haven't totally tested, and I can't totally test this until we have something we want to upload. But upload to Steam, I think we did test. And yeah, we have a lot of paths that we need to fix up to do make constants out of these. Failed to upload to Steam. Yeah, cool. Okay, I think that's good. And then version tools, what's this one? Is this C#? Yeah, this is C#. We're in another channel, we're talking about dev languages. Someone said Java, so walked, so C# could run. Someone said C# ran into a wall. Java tripped on a flat surface. I think people give Java a lot of flack, but Java is practically everywhere, and the JVM is the target for many different languages. And some of those languages are better than Java, so just use those, I guess, but it's still sort of Java under the hood if you think about it. So I guess I don't totally get the flack for it. Maybe it's just like an easy thing to hate on. Yeah. All right, so what are we doing here? We look up the tags. So this just fetches all tags that start with V. I kind of want to just write this here, even though it might be clear to people who use git tag what this does. But fetch all tags that match a version number. well, that I guess look like a version number. And then figure out which one is highest. And then say which one we found. And then we don't need this here. Yeah. Then this will actually tag with a particular version. Maybe we should have called this get tag. Yeah, probably get tag. All right, so we list all the versions to make sure we're not going to add one that exists. Then we make this tag and add it. Okay, that's fine. Set version in project file. Probably right. Modifies C project.godot to set the version. Yeah. Okay, prompt for new version. So whatever you typed in, delete the dash. Can we say to disallow? There's allow lower V. Is there something that says disallow the pre-release? No, that's fine. We can just ditch it and then add it back in. And then make sure you typed a new one. Yeah, this looks good. All right, so why is this? Oh, because I changed get tag. Yeah, cool. The keyword salad is the thing that puts me most off Java and C#. How is it different from other languages in that sense, though? Like every language has keywords. And maybe Java and C# have slightly more, but it's probably not like a ton more, right? Are you going to create this as a .NET tool so it's easier for you to run locally? I think it's so they're just standalone executables basically, and the way that we run this is with actually just pretty much through VS Code. I just press F5 and it runs. So I don't think there's really any easier way than that. Although if I wanted to run this from the command line, I guess it'd be this command. Well, this is VSDBG. I guess it wouldn't be that command. Yeah, it'd probably just be .NET run. Public static sealed internal class. Okay, sure. I could see that. That all sort of fades into the background for me. Sort of like how curly braces fade in the background if you're not looking at block scoping. You just look at the content. Okay, anyway, let's quit out of this. With a tool, you could do like sk build command or something. Oh, I think I see what you mean. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be very important because, like I said, all I do is press F5 and it just runs. So it's pretty straightforward. Programming languages by keyword count. Oh, C# is the second highest, and Java's not even that close to C#. What are the Visual Basic keywords? I haven't used this in forever. I remember dim. Yeah, there's dim. I mean, obviously if and else and for and all those sorts of things. Yeah, there are a lot of these. Yeah. Okay, so add foundation for release tool. There are still a lot of minor cleanups I want to perform, but the tool should be working. It's hard to verify right now since Valve still had, well, before I write something about Valve, let's go make sure that this is actually the case. Partner.steamgames.com and then view dashboard. Has it been approved? No. Wait, I'm pretty sure no. Yeah, it says it's still in the review queue. Valve still hasn't approved the playtest version of the game. Yeah, so let's commit that and then publish this branch. Hey, Ciala. Often means it's hard. So trying to think of what's the correct preface for this, but I guess like Bash specifically, I'm trying not to soapbox about this for too long, but anyway, I think small Bash scripts are fine. I don't think writing Bash is something you do off the top of your head for a lot of developers. It's like, oh, it's time to write a bash script. Yeah, this happens once a month or once every 3 months or something. So let me look up the syntax. Best practices are really hard to figure out in bash. It's like, do you know which of the syntaxes to use for this and like where to put a semicolon or whatever? And anyway, a lot of that is kind of difficult. And then not everyone uses bash. It's like some people use a different shell. So in general, I find that, like I said, small scripts, totally fine. Anything larger, probably just shift to whatever language you're using. And then you'd have some other guarantees, I'd say. So like you could easily write tests for it. You could, everyone on your team is probably going to understand it because it's already the language you're using. You can use any other libraries that might exist. You can call out to shell commands if you want to in the end anyway. Hey, Godzilla. Okay, so now we got to go do all this other stuff. So this is done. Now fix to-do items. I guess we could do that now, maybe. Sure. Let's go look into it now. Oh, drat. This is a Spanish word. Okay, I guess we can never remove all the to-dos from our code then. So let's just close out of that. And then same thing here. This is another to-do that actually is just part of a variable name. So if we get rid of all of those, we'll just find the ones that we want. I could have just searched for to-do colon. It would have been fine. Although actually, I guess in Spanish, you might end up saying this in just the language, but you wouldn't do it in all caps. You published the game yet? Like to launch? No. The demo is available, but the launch won't happen for another few months. That's not safe since XU's files are main.sh. Writing a game in bash? I just, like, anyone can do anything they want to learn or as a pet project or something, but if the goal is to actually make a command line based game, I just can't help but think you're probably better off writing it in like a proper programming language. Well, thanks, Godzilla. Yeah, and hey, Phil. Okay, so ensure this exists at the launch of the program. So we have only, what, one environment variable we check for? Yeah. So maybe... how do I want to do this? Because one way we could do this is release tool.cs could just check at the very beginning of all of this, like, do you have the environment variables you need? But each individual class might need its own ones. So we could write something like ensure environment variables exist. Kind of weird to do that. Hang on, I have to sneeze. Excuse me. Whew. Rarely can I announce it and then still sneeze. Usually I can't sneeze after announcing it. It's not actually just the environment variables. It's that it points to something that is executable. I guess that's what we want. So like ensure Godot is in path. Yeah, something like that. Okay, now let's go find, let's not find anything. Let's just do this. All right, so internal static void, ensure it's in path. So if it's null or empty, then we do a thing here. Environment variable is not set. Please set it to the path of the Godot 4 executable. And then we want to make sure it's a file that exists. Godot does not exist. Please check the Godot environment variable. Cool. That is exactly what I want. So that now when we do this, we can know that this existed and then just delete that stuff. Although technically this relies on us having called this. So we need to like save to a static Boolean that we called it. But anyway, it's fine. Otherwise, this will just fail. It'll either produce an exception here or it'll produce it here. So I don't think it matters too much. All right, so now how do we test this? Let's make it just say Godot 5. Oh, this is dumb. I should make a constant out of this. Private const string Godot environment variable, yeah. And then take this. And we should probably put $signs for these things, replace this. Same thing there, and same thing here. Okay, so if I were to set this to Godot 5, it would just fail. Yeah. So environment variable is not set. Now we should try setting it to something that doesn't exist. How do we do that? I don't think I can just type env without it showing private stuff. Oh, wait, term. Let's check term. Term exists as an environment variable, but it's not pointing to a file. So it should give us the other error now. Yeah, there we go. Godot executable xterm 256 color doesn't exist. Perfect. Perfect. Hey, Matt. Saw the video of Miss Spooks playing the game. She did a wonderful job and to make me want to install it and play it immediately. Nice. Yeah, that's great to hear. Yeah, I was sharing this earlier, but yesterday we got plus 120 wish list, which is nuts. And actually, even like right this second, there are probably more people playing the game than there are usually. Yeah, there's 16 people playing Skeleseller right now, which again is pretty good. And despite all of the people who've been playing, the median playtime is still pretty high. And today there have been 39 more people to claim it. So like the numbers are healthy. Reaching out to influencers definitely helps. Who would have thought? Okay, so we now ensure that the environment variable exists. And we can set this back to Godot 4. And now when I run this, it should be fine. Must feel good to see players on. Yeah, it is. It is. I think that's one of the sad things about, well, really software development, I guess, is that the low-hanging fruit are kind of gone. It's not like, oh, it's 1993 and someone just needs to make the first RPG on Super Nintendo or something. It's like, well, people have made a million RPGs. So now you got to spend longer making something, polish it, etc. And at the end of all of that, if it doesn't pay off, it's like, oh, I spent a year and a half of my life doing something and devoting a lot of time to it, and it didn't pay off. And that's kind of how I felt with Botland. I actually spent 5 years working on that, which itself was a mistake. And the fact I was working on Botland was probably a mistake. And it didn't pay off. And I look back on the experience fondly in terms of what I learned, but in terms of commercial success, it just wasn't there. And I'm not bitter about it. I was originally, but I'm no longer bitter about it. Enough time has passed. It has healed my wounds. And now I look back with just like, yeah, that was a great experience. I learned a ton. But I'm trying to apply a lot of those learnings to Skeleseller to make sure it doesn't hit the same fate. So ensure Godot 4 is a proper environment variable. Cool, cool, cool. That's where I remember you from. Yeah, Botland. I'm that idiot. By the way, for anyone curious how I typed environment variable by just typing 3 characters, that is a spanso. And if you want to find out more about that stuff, I have made a free YouTube playlist that talks about everything. And it's not to try to upsell you on anything. It's purely just free. So it's just me hawking my videos for views at this point. All right, so 1 to-do item has been fixed. Let's go fix the other ones. So it's a lot of just make a constant out of things. Yeah. Okay, so how do we do this? We have the root folder of Skeleseller, which should be the path that we run from. So we should probably verify that at launch time of this thing so that we can know that we can just path to this and have it work correctly. So how should we do that? Release tool.cs. And we have this ensure Godot is in path. We have path tools. I could say something like assert that we are in the root directory. Public static void assert current working directory is root of Skeleseller repo. I guess there's no guarantee that the name is Skeleseller, but it will have a game directory and I guess a git directory. And we could check to see if game contains like project.godot. That's probably good enough. Yeah, that's probably good enough. On my trading software? No, that's a guarantee. There's no need to upsell. That thing sells itself. Rate your top 3 favorite code editors. I mean, VS Code, because that's what I'm using. I'm tempted to say Sublime and then Sight, which is what I used a long time ago, but I don't think that's actually true. I think somewhere in there, a JetBrains tool would probably appear. And I don't know what it would be exactly because it depends on what language I'm using at the time. But to be honest, I haven't really used something other than VS Code for personal coding in a while. And the last job I had was at Google, and there we use an internal specific editor. Which, if I had to say something similar enough, it was pretty similar to VS Code. It wasn't VS Code, but it was similar to it. So it's like, yeah, I like VS Code. If you have a game that's multiple languages, is that done in code or is it software? I'm not sure what you mean. I'm assuming you mean multiple human languages. Like if you have a game that's in English and in French or something. But even is it done in code or is it soft? Yeah, okay, that is what you mean. So is it done in code? The way you typically do this is you'd have something like, let's say you have a, I don't know, game over message, right? And it says like game over, play again, something like that, right? So this is how you would code something if you were only targeting English. You would just put the string right in code and you just put the English string right there. If you are not targeting English, you will have some abstraction layer over this, which will maybe be something like localized strings dot get game over message. And then somewhere there'd be like a game over message equals this in your, English file. And then you'd have a French file that says it in some other language. Or sorry, in some other language, say it in French. Oh, neat. So yeah, you do something like this. I don't know if that answers your question exactly, because I don't know what you mean by is it in code or is it software. If you're asking how do you come up with these strings, like the usual way to do it was you find someone who speaks French and you say, hey, can you translate this string in the context of a game? And here's what the game is like. But nowadays, yeah, you might use AI. You might use a service for this or something. Is there any reason why they have internal specific editors in big tech? I think just usually to make a consistent development experience across teams and to cut down on any issues that developers at that company might feel. So at least at Google, for example, switching teams is pretty easy. So now imagine you go from team A to team B and you're like, I have no idea what's going on anymore. Now you have more ramp up time. So like if Google makes an editor that you can use on every team, then they might save themselves tens of thousands of dollars. Just, well, they're almost certainly saving themselves that much, but in some small amount of time, just based on people not having to ramp up as they go to a new team. And then, yeah, like I said, whatever features, maybe you want to integrate with services that you only need to do working at a company. Hey, Stilling. Yeah, I like bunnies. Built-in method of doing this with spreadsheet documents with a key on it. Yeah, they do. I was simplifying this just for the sake of demonstration. Human translators in shambles. Actually, I was reading about this recently, and it's kind of just like with software development. I think some translators are torn on this. Apparently, there was something called like DeepL that translators have been using for the last few years, and LLMs have only made things better, but they're not like totally worried yet about their jobs, but some people are. Okay, so assert this is the root of Skeleseller. We didn't actually write this. So the way we'll tell is by finding a game folder, a .git directory, and making sure game contains project.godot. So somewhere here we should have a public const string game dir name, Godot project file name, and then the git thing we'll just check directly. So this, we want to say if it doesn't exist, the current working directory is not the root of the Skeleseller repository or any of those things. Okay, and then have it write the proper string for this. Current working directory is not the root of the Skeleseller repository. Please run this tool from the root where the game directory and Godot project file are located. that's not totally correct, I guess. It's like project file path is this. We check that game and Godot project file path. And then we don't need to write where the game directory and okay, something like that. And then why is new in white? that spooks me. But let's try running this, and instead of game, we'll just call it game 2. And then in release tool, we'll say path tools dot ensure is root. Good. Hey, Smack. Long time. Whenever someone says that, I want to see how long of a time. It hasn't been a long time. It's been 16 days. Welcome back, nonetheless. Some people have been here for years. How have your last 16 days been, Smack? All right, so I hit play. It says the current working directory, which is volumes Skeleseller, is not the root of the Skeleseller repository. Please run this tool from there, where the game2 directory and game2/project are located. Cool. So this looks good, except for the quotation marks around this. I want this to be proper quotes. Okay, I like that. So now that we know that that's a thing, now our other to-do items should become easier. So game is going to be path tools dot game. All right, we're reloading this. I have a question regarding that. Yeah, sure. Ask away. Game dir name. And I'll write a comment for this. It's easiest to run release tool. We should probably put a CC-ref there, huh? Except for that's not going to work now, because what is this in a namespace? It's not a namespace. Because shared would need a reference to release tool to know that this thing is there. Yuck. Okay, well, fine. I just won't put a thing to it then. It's easiest to run release tool when we know that we're working from the root of the repository. That way, yeah. What do you think about inverting the condition? This condition? So in general, I think what's the code you're running? And inverting conditions helps in only kind of 2 cases. Well, maybe 3. 3 reasons to invert in a condition. One is yeah, actually that is correct. Okay. 2 is to change the, I guess it's kind of the code more readable, change the order that things happen, which might not even matter. And 3 is to return early and reduce nesting. This isn't really true. I don't even, anyway. And so in this case, it's like we don't have an else clause. Our else is just to return anyway, and our if is doing that too. So what would inverting this do for us exactly? Like we only need to throw an exception here. So I don't think it really benefits us in this case. Now, one thing I could see someone wanting to do is maybe simplify this a little bit, but even this I think reads pretty naturally. If you don't have the directory, or you don't have the other directory, or you don't have the file, then there's a problem. So in my mind, this is already pretty readable. Okay, so now put this somewhere central and use the constant for game. So this is where export presets is. We should probably, do we ever use project.godot on its own? No, it's used with game there. I guess it's just path to project. But then these things would need to be static and not constant, but they could be read-only. Well, this one can be constant. This one has to be static because it's going to be formed by doing path.combine with the game dir name and then project.godot. And then from here, we can just use the, oh, it's not even a file name anymore. It's just Godot project path. So then we don't need this. And we can just do that. Yeah. Yeah, so a way that I could see this maybe being different is like, let's say we had some, yeah, I don't know. I shouldn't contrive a scenario for this. It's pretty much the stuff I would boil it down to from before. Like you might want to invert an if condition when it makes things clearer. And in this case, we are checking. Well, mentally you have to check each and then negate. But like I said, I think it reads pretty straightforwardly. Like we're saying this does not exist. Sometimes it's difficult if you name Booleans negatively. So let's say you say like file does not exist. And then you check if not file does not exist. This on its own is already hard to comprehend. You've named a Boolean negatively and then you're like not that thing. Like in this case, I would say, yeah, invert it or name the Boolean positively, file does exist, and then negate it here. But yeah, I don't see any problem with this sort of code. Hey, 20 hours later. Ever thought about embedding chat in your videos? Sometimes I watch the YouTube, but have to come here to see the dialogue. I kind of want to, but I need to look into a tool for that. So yeah, maybe I should do something like that. What's the file path for? This one? This is the Godot project file. This is what you open in Godot that tells you here's where all my directories are. Here's what the settings are. Yeah, I'll write that down 20 hours later. If someone knows of a tool off the top of their head, I could do that. It would only show Twitch chat, which I guess that's probably all people would want to care about. But you can't show YouTube chat on your Twitch streams without being held accountable for what people on YouTube are saying. So I've asked Twitch about this, and the reason you can show Twitch chat is because it's their own users. So if they say something stupid, then you can ban them and I guess just move on. But if someone on YouTube says something stupid, then they're like, oh, it's not our platform. We can ban you for that. Sub chat. Generating YouTube subtitles from chat log. I don't think this is what we want from this though, right? Yeah, I don't think we want this. You meant live? Yeah, live. Yeah. Okay, did we finish that? Yeah, so I think we finished this. So now put this somewhere central and use this. So this is game export presets. So this, we got to do the same thing over here. Let's close out of everything else that we have and get the export presets path. And this is just like that. Yep, looks good. We should probably ensure that this exists too. We don't really need there to be a .git repo for this. Yeah, I'll just delete that part. Thought we found a tool to render chat onto a video. Oh, I see where the confusion is. Okay, so what I was thinking is I would want a tool to show chat on screen at all times, even right now on Twitch. And then in the YouTube video, it would just be there because it would have been in the Twitch video. Did you go down the line of ads on YouTube or TikTok and Twitch for the game? Yeah, I'd probably look into that eventually. I kind of want to see how things do with just reaching out to influencers and keeping the budget pretty low. You do that with a browser source in OBS? Yeah, I should look into this. I guess I could actually just... Well, anyway, I'll look into this. Doing this via a browser source. Because I want it to be somewhat transparent, but still visible. And yeah, I gotta look into it. Hey, Sejamara, welcome back. Okay, so now this can be pulled from path. Oh, wait, we don't even need this here. This can just be deleted. Add command handler and remove command handler. Yeah, I guess let's do this. Okay, what else? This is game/out. So this is going to be the... What do we call this? Like the build output directory. What else is in that folder though? Out. Just builds. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So this is game/out. I think it's lowercase. Okay, everything else is capitalized except for that one. So fine. Hey, A.K. My full-time game dev, yeah. Also find pre-made styles for it online. Yeah, so I need to look into that because I do think that would be nice to do. And I am kind of sad that chat is only archived on Twitch for like 60 days and then the VODs go away. And then that's it. No one will ever know what I was talking about. Not that it matters too much. I don't think people are going to watch these videos like 3 years later, but some people do. So making a constant out of this, we have path to build output already. So we don't need to do anything special with this. We can just delete that. And then here we can replace this with path tools, build output path. Yeah. All right, rest of that looks good. Same thing here, make a constant out of this. That's already done. And now we can just go use that. Then make constants out of these. And this is the project.godot file. Path tools.godot project path. All right, so all we have are these remaining. So the Steam CMD executable, this is presumably not in my path. Steam CMD, no, it's not. It would turn pink if it were. You can tell that it's not working that way. Actually, you can see the witch turns pink. So you can see the proof right there. So I manually path to this. I wonder why. Because we could just put this in the path and then there wouldn't be a problem. I think I want to do that because I don't think I want to have like this folder in this code. The other way we could do it is with an environment variable and then just set the variable before we run this. But yeah, I think just putting this in path makes the most sense. Is this your first game? How long have you worked on it? It's not my first game. I've made a bunch of different games and not all of them have released. And the ones that are released right now are not games you'd probably want to play. But the last game I released, which is currently not playable, is Botland. And there's a blog post I did on this that talks about the crazy journey it was to get to even that point. Yeah, this. It's just the first blog post there. So I started back in 2010 working on like this prototype in Python for just a game that involved coding. And I think I've got a video of this online somewhere. I'm not going to find it. It's not worth seeing. But then I continued working on it. It was like an MMORPG in Java. That was a stupid idea. And I was like, you know what? Why not turn it into a single player RPG? And then we ended up turning it into the game that you see on the website there, Botland. This thing. Actually,
a strategy game with a focus.
Oh, you know what? Let's just play this. Here, you can see the trailer for Botland, a game that you can't play.
Welcome to Botland, a strategy game with a focus on automation. In Botland, rather than directly controlling your bots, you'll make scripts, from the basic script that you see here, to complex strategies that you refine over time. But don't worry, you can start small. Equip your bots with weapons and support hardware to give them different abilities in battle. Choose from a huge number of styles to get exactly the look you want. Protect your computer from other players. Attack those players and watch yourself climb in the rankings. Unlock new hardware, invent strategies, and rise to the top. Play now for free at bot.land.
Oh my goodness. It's funny looking at that now. Is that my voice? No, that's actually another person named Adam though, but I hired a voice actor for that. I checked your Steam. Yeah, I had to discontinue the game. So it required servers to be online for it because it was just a multiplayer game. I guess there were some very minor single player aspects to it. But yeah, it'll come back at some point. Element is working on open sourcing it right now. I don't plan on supporting it anymore. Okay, so we're gonna put this in the path, which means I need to take this and add this to my path. So let's go edit Z shell. And I think I have like an ensure in path or add to path or something. I must do this with I don't know. Ah, there it is. Yeah, add Postgres stuff to my path, add .NET Core tools. Okay, so where else do we do this sort of thing? Also, is this not what ensure in path does? It is. All right, so let's just put another thing here. This is for Steam uploads. So users, Atom, Steam, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so if I do a Steam CMD now, it turns pink and -- help Yeah, good. So where do you get Steam CMD from? Here? Yeah, I mean, that's probably it, but I don't remember seeing this page in particular. There's some other, what's the other page called? Valve Steam CMD. There's some like partner.steam games link. Steam upload to depot. Oh, maybe it's this. Yeah, here it is. This is the page I'm used to seeing. This is what I want to link to. Sounds like a voice from a made up commercial. We got comments way back then about sort of the difference between American advertising and, let's say, whatever European country these people were talking from who were commenting. And American advertising sounds cheerier and more upbeat and more disingenuous to some extent, but it's what Americans are used to. So that same sort of style is in that video. I think it worked. I like it. I just, yeah, it's probably a little jarring for people who aren't Americans. Or I guess I've seen a lot of American media. All right, so the Steam executable, we'll put this in path tools as well. This is here. So this is going to be Steam CMD. Actually, wait, wait. We don't need to make a thing out of this. Although we should probably make sure it exists. So upload tools should probably have something like we did for Godot tools. Where is that? Ensure Godot is in path. Yeah, so we should make like an ensure Steam CMD is in path. So probably in path tools, we'll just get the variable and then make sure the file exists. Path tools, assert valid path. Yeah, so we'll do public static void assert valid environment variable. Yeah. So we take in the environment variable and we assume that it's a file, I guess, for now. So get, if it's null or empty, environment variable is not set. Please set it to the appropriate value. We could have an error message for what it represents, but I don't think that really matters. And then if not directory exists and not file exists, then environment variable points to a path does not exist. And var value. Yeah. And then just put this in quotes. All right, pretty nice. So that part could technically be done here. We could just say it doesn't exist, but I think having the environment variable print out at the same time is helpful. So now let's call that from this path tools dot assert. So that's going to check all of this stuff. Yeah, nice. Easy. And then same thing for upload tools, I guess. Which at this point, I guess the caller could verify this stuff. I don't know if I care. So ensure environment variables are set. Maybe we should just do this from here too. And then this is going to be for the Steam CMD executable. Oh, this isn't even an environment variable though. What am I doing? Yeah, this isn't an environment variable. Let's just make sure that a file exists. So ensure Steam CMD exists. How do we do that? I don't know. Yeah. Ensure program is in path. Check if an executable exists in the Windows path. Yeah, I want to do this without executing it. I know I could just do the program and then like dash help or something. System IO exists and check with everything in the path. Yeah, I don't like that. Well, in this particular case, we actually do need to run this once to make sure it'll update. And I think I have this written down somewhere. Yeah, run it with dash help at the beginning. So we'll say run Steam CMD with no args, or like ensure, how about this? Ensure Steam CMD is up to date. Yeah, there, that's perfect. Okay, so then what we'll do is we'll run, I guess let's get the Steam CMD name, private const string Steam CMD executable. And then in the ensure function, we're going to use that with this. Okay, so we want to run that with dash dash help, I guess. And we need a logger passed in here. Logger. All right, so what do we care about with this? I can't actually validate that this updates unless I go download an older version and cause it to update and then check the exit code. We should probably do that. Oh, I don't want to do this. All right, how do we download this thing? Download and unzip the latest version of the SDK. Where do you get this from? Where do you get this from? So I guess we have to find the SDK. Where do you download this? Download and unzip the latest version of the Steamworks SDK. None of these are links in here. Where do you get it? All right, fine. Let's just look up Steamworks SDK and hopefully we find a Valve link for this. You can download the latest version here. But wait, it's already the latest version. I want an old version. Other versions may contain other tools which are no longer used. Older version. Hey, Jangtron. Stopped using Jumpy extension. I never really used the Jumpy extension. If you're talking about the thing that annotates links with character, I don't think I've ever had that installed. Or if I have, it was like 10 years ago. Do they have old versions here? There's a list thing. Oh, nice. I think they do. There's download latest, but then there's all the old stuff. Okay, so let's just download any old one of these. Maybe this one. And we want to extract this, and then in here somewhere should be Steam CMD. Yeah. All right, so how do I run this? Upload to Steam. Steam CMD, there it is. So it's in Builder OS X. Oh, darn it. That's not, we don't have that, do we? Tools, Content Builder. Oh, we do have that. Okay, so it's this that I want to run. All right, I'm going to do this off screen really fast just to make sure nothing goes wrong here. Well, I guess the first thing we need to do is make it executable. And then we run this with dash dash help. So I'm going to do that part off screen. It should not do anything bad. It's an app you downloaded from the internet. What? Just ran a whole bunch of stuff and then it failed. All right, it returned exit code 42. I wonder if they say what that exit code means. Because, yeah, there's a whole bunch of assertions that failed, and it's just an installing update. Get an older path. Well, this did work, and this did what I wanted it to. It just returned an exit code of 42. Steam CMD exit code 42. Does that just mean it updated? Is by design and is used for debugging purposes. You encounter this, try renaming Steam CMD to Steam CMD old. 3 sources. What are the sources? How do you... Oh, there we go. Alpine send, CentOS send. There's a Docker image, I guess. Failed to apply update, reverting. This is just funny to me. Replacing Any bad words with a bunch of hearts. If you're gonna censor something, I guess adding hearts at least makes it humorous. The moment it updates, it finishes with an exit code of 42. The second time it finishes with an exit code of 0. Okay, so 42 probably does just mean it updated, which is what we're seeing. Magic restart exit code. All right, I think we'll just check. I think we'll just check that. How fun. Isn't that fun? All right, so we get the exit code, and I guess we don't want the output or the error for this. And if the exit code is 0 or if it's 42, then we're fine. Yeah. If it's not equal to 0 and it's not equal to 42, then we say something like log error Steam CMD executable exited with code, exit code. Figure out what went wrong. I guess we should get the output and the error in that case. Shrug emoji /n output. Or maybe like this. Okay, output and error. Wait, what's the problem here? Exit code does not exist in the current context? Oh, because of this thing being there? Forgot I had that left there. Okay, so let's put a const int Steam CMD just updated exit code is 42. And then we definitely need a comment for this function. So unfortunately, running Steam CMD sometimes ignores your command. Well, running Steam CMD when there's an update available will ignore your command completely and instead automatically update. To prevent this and to ensure that Steam CMD is even set up correctly, we run it with -- help at the beginning of the upload process. Okay, so now we call this from release tool. I guess we need the logger at that point. I guess we can do this first. And then here we want to do upload tools.ensure with a logger. Hey, Nilox. Okay. So if we don't have this in our path, and we won't actually, because I never restarted VS Code, so it won't have our up-to-date path. So if I run this, it should fail. That's surprising. But maybe it's because it's starting a new terminal every time. Yeah, that's probably why. I don't like that it printed out running command. But that's okay. Okay, so how do we get this to fail? We would remove this from our Z-shell RC. Steam uploads. So we just set this to OS X2 and then try running this. And now it should fail. Okay, that's surprising. Why? Why is that working? Did I restart VS Code after modifying my path, maybe? That could make sense. If I just do reload, it might fail now. Should probably throw when it happens. Am I not throwing? Because yes, I should. Yeah. Okay, Steam CMD exited with exit code with code -1. All right, -1 in this case means we couldn't even find the executable. Oh, it says right there, executable not found. That should probably be the exception. Process tools. Executable not found. Here, yeah. This should probably throw. Executable. Not found. Delete that. Don't return. So it's going to throw no matter what, but in this case, we know that it couldn't find it. 2 and 3. Can't find the file and can't find the path. We could have just different exceptions thrown for this. So yeah, throw new. I'll just do it here. Exception.native error code. Actually, you know what? Let's just split this up. Exception.native error code is equal to 2. Then that is this. Executable not found. No, I guess I don't care. I'm splitting this for no reason. Yeah. And then in here too, we will throw this error. There. Okay, so we just try rerunning this and it should throw an exception. I guess it's not even going to get to the logger call. Yeah, we just immediately stop here. Steam CMD not found. Perfect. So then we don't need to worry about that. Unexpected exit code for that. Check logs for details. Perfect. Cool. All right, so then back to our ZShellRC. Let's put this back to OS X1. Reload VS Code. Run this again. Oh man, I wonder if I've spent too much time on this stuff. Like we already had something kind of working and now I'm cleaning up the code for it. I'm just antsy about this. Like if we spend an extra 3 hours on something, that's like enough time to fix a couple bugs or whatever else and just not worry about this. Oh well. Okay. So this is done and we fixed every to-do item now? No, not quite yet. Steam CMD executable, this shouldn't exist anymore. This should point to that. And then we need the VDF and yeah, just 2 VDF files. Now we already know what directory we're in, so we could change both of these to just /. No. What am I doing? Upload tools shouldn't even need that. It's that. Okay, and I guess these can be constants. Hopefully that works. Yeah, I wasn't totally sure how they were different either, which is why I realized I should just leave them combined like that. Okay, so all of the to-do items have been fixed. Again, we can't easily test if this works. So we have a Steam app, but there are actually 3 apps now. There is the main app, and there's no game there yet because the game hasn't been launched. There's the demo. There's a demo there. And then there's the playtest version, which Valve needs to approve. They probably will approve it today or tomorrow because all they need to do apparently is just look at the images. And I pretty much just copy the images from the other one that I have. So they should be valid because they already approved the main one. And then once this exists, what this will let us do is we can upload a build there and no one will get access to it unless I give them a Steam key. And I haven't given any out because it's not possible yet because they haven't approved it yet. So once that's done, we can make sure that this whole thing I'm doing works. But until then, we have to approximate it. And yeah, I'm glad we started the process because I didn't even realize I needed to submit a thing for approval. I didn't even know that this existed, by the way. It wasn't until Monatic Bind told me on Monday that I knew that Steam has a playtest feature. I was planning on doing a password protected branch, which also would have worked. The only difficulty with a password protected branch is someone can just share out your password to anybody and now they get access. And I can't revoke that access unless I change the password for everybody. So I'm glad we are using the playtest feature, but it is more work. All right, so fix to do items is done. All I see is star, 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 star. Good old bash.org. All right, if you're just checking the exit code, you can call run process reporting. So let's look at every run process that we have. Dot run. What is this? Oh, the internationalization thing. Interesting. Okay, so I don't want to change these things then. But yeah, this, for example, probably should change. So let's see what would happen here. If we call run with reporting, it's going to check to see if the error code or the exit code is not 0. It's going to say error while running. You know what? I am going to put this in quotes. I think it's just slightly cleaner that way. But yeah, so run with reporting. And then what changes here? Taking logger executable working directory arguments. Logger executable working directory arguments. Oh, but we don't get the same return value. We just get the error code. I keep saying error code, exit code. Out of curiosity, does batch call it? I don't care. Sidetracking myself, not going to do it. Otherwise, we say successfully. So if it's equal to 0, then we have successfully uploaded. Cool. All right, so we can do this everywhere. Well, everywhere that we find appropriate. So this one's now done. What about these? We check if it's not 0 and we throw an exception. Does this throw an exception? Run with reporting? No, it doesn't. Although we could just delete these lines. Yeah, we could delete these lines and get the exit code with reporting. Yeah, cool. Okay. It still simplifies things. Still nice. Okay, so that one's done. Now what about this? This one also checks to see. So we don't. Okay, so this one we can't change to run with reporting because when it's 42, we still don't want to print stuff out. So this one's fine. This one can be changed. And we can just say if it's equal to 0, success. Segmented off guest Wi-Fi password for years. Has anyone commented on it? Plan to start full-time game dev too this summer. Any advice? I have a lot of advice for you. I always say start with your goals. So what are they? Is it have fun? Is it learn? Is it make money? Is it whatever? Anything. It can be whatever you want. I'm not going to judge your goals, but I will judge what you do based on those goals. So if it's to make money and you're like, I'm going to budget 10 hours once to make a game, you're not going to make money. No one's going to probably make money making a game in 10 hours and then just releasing it. So it's like, okay, once you have your goals in mind, now start to plan based on those goals. So the general game dev process is going to be some amount of design, prototype, like get a team together somewhere in the process, or figure out what you're doing about assets, and then actually do your development, testing, feedback, testing, release, all of the normal stuff. Depending on what your goals are, you might change parts of this process. If your goal is just to have fun, you're probably going to skip a lot of this. Maybe you don't get a team together. Maybe you never release it. Maybe you don't test anything. Maybe you don't even get feedback. You're just having fun developing a game. So yeah, your goals are pretty important. And then if it is to make a product, if it is to make money, I think this is one of the critical parts of the process, getting feedback. So I generally think of this as at almost every point, your game should be fun. And the way you find out it's fun, at least according to enough people, is you try to find people in your target audience and you run it by them and you either watch them play or have them record a video or something and see what kind of issues they run into, and then iterate on that feedback. And then at some point, again, if you're making a product, marketing is pretty important. If you're making it just to learn, you don't need to market a game. But yeah, marketing, you need to ramp up at some point too. So that's my high level general shotgun of advice. Only a couple got the joke. Yeah. Wonder how dated that is now. I mean, I know it's from a very long time ago, but I wonder if it's in the public consciousness at all anymore. All right, so this one's been changed. Now we have 3 left to look at. There's this, which we never checked the exit code of. Interesting. So if it fails, what happens? We don't bother looking at it. We probably should, right? Like Git might not exist. Although if it doesn't exist, I think it'll be pretty clear what's going wrong, but it's still going to try executing more stuff. So I guess let's get the exit code. If exit code is not equal to 0. Yeah, so let's do run with reporting. However, there is a tiny little challenge added into this. Oh, we checked the output too. Oh, drat, we can't do that then. But we do need to add this in. Okay, so this one's fine. Let's copy paste this code. And then the next one of these is here. Again, we need to check, does the exit code exist? Or is it successful? And this one is failed to fetch tags again. That's totally fine. And then the final one is down here. We can get rid of the int. Cool. Yeah, nice. All right, so we have fixed that. Is Twitch enough to get a community for feedback? It probably is. But one of the difficulties of Twitch nowadays is growth, especially if you're doing software and game dev. The way that the people in software and game dev that you see right now got big is generally either streaming a ton, having an audience from a while ago, or pulling an audience from another platform. So if your goal is to make a game and you want Twitch to build the community, you now need to make sure Twitch is going to meet the goal of building a community for you. So that means you'll need to like market your Twitch stream in addition to marketing the game. There are other communities you can potentially find people through, like a Reddit or a Discord server, a subreddit, I guess. I don't know which ones in particular, but those are other ways you can just hopefully find some random people to play. For example, there's /r/playmygame. But this isn't the kind of thing where you'd probably get 10 new people every week. The other thing I would say is just talk to friends and family. Like if your game is up their alley at all, then they'll typically be okay helping you out. And I've had several friends now play the game at various points and give feedback, and it's been massively helpful. We don't see first 6 lines. What? You're saying you can't see what's on the screen here? Because there's nothing on my screen that's obscuring this. Is there something on Twitch that's blocking this for you? What is blocking this for you? Because if it's something... Yeah, I'm curious about that. There shouldn't be any pop-ups. Maybe you're on mobile and there's a banner? But if so, I wonder what the banner says, because it should be dismissible. Never mind my setup, sorry. Okay, yeah. Okay, so this part's done. Let's go check this in. So this is... Oh, wait, we did more than just that. Oh, we addressed all the to-do items. Oh, darn it. I combined 2 things then. I didn't mean to do that. Well, I don't really want to undo this, but... Yeah, let's see what we can do here. So we're not going to change this, but we are going to change this. I guess actually this whole file can be marked as changed. That's fine. Steam CMD, same thing here. This we keep. We don't take that. We don't take that. We take all of this stuff. Yeah. I should have just committed. I didn't realize I hadn't. So now we got to split this stuff apart. It doesn't take a very long time. It's just annoying. Yeah, we're almost done. Path tools. What's this stuff doing here? What? What is this? This never existed. I don't know what that's about. All right. And then the not found stuff, I guess we do want this here. And I guess I might as well add this into, okay. I moved it, but I didn't think it existed in the commit. I guess it did. Okay, so all of the changes we see now should just be around run process and getting rid of logger calls. So yes, that's true. That one's true. We should have, I think, 4 of these. This one is true. And that, and I guess there were more than that, but yeah. Yeah, so this, I don't know, this got deleted. All right, let's take a look now. So now this should be the opposite of that. This should be all the stuff we want around fixing to-do items. Yeah. Looks good. Looks good. Cool. Okay, so fix to-do items. This was mostly around making constants for paths and then making sure that they exist at the beginning of the program. And then this was use run process with reporting where applicable. Is that less than 50 characters? Yes. Nice. Okay, commit that. All right, so cut down on the spamminess and make it more helpful. We should put the release instructions right in the output to tell you to write patch notes. Oh, this task never ends. Okay, so anywhere that we have a logger call or a specter call, we need to now look at. So like this stuff, current version of flavor is current version. I guess let's just try running this and not have it upload anything. Hey, Campbell Soup. All right, so like that's not helpful output. Running command. No, actually, I guess it could be helpful. But there's an extra space. Oh, I see. It's because we don't get new lines here. Why don't we? Because we need a carriage return, maybe? That's very bizarre. But I don't really mind. I don't generally have nightmares about code, but every once in a while I have this like anxiety dream about endlessly debugging. That's one of the worst. There's some code. It doesn't really matter. It's not like the code is well defined in my head or anything, and I'm just poking at it forever trying to find where's the issue. It feels like it'd work in my sleep. I strongly dislike that. Okay, so let's pick demo. So yeah, all of this stuff, this is all trash. Found tag, highest tag found, current version of demo. This one's fine, I think. But yeah, the other one's found tag. That probably shouldn't be there. Yeah, so delete this. And then highest tag found. Delete that. That's trauma. Hey, Monte Carlo. Coding nightmares are when I can't shut my brain off from work and I think about it all night, not even getting paid. Yeah. So it's a waking nightmare, you're saying? My job a long time ago as a junior dev. I mean, I think everyone still ends up in debugging sessions, or they have some bug that they have to find, and it's just very elusive. And it just it gets amplified in your dreams. The way I kind of look at it is you don't need the right stimulus to feel a certain emotion in your dreams, and things can feel more impactful than they are. So for example, you can see a face and just know that it's a certain person, but it's not really that face that you're seeing. It's kind of the same thing with the anxiety. It's like your brain just directly triggers the anxiety when debugging really isn't that bad to begin with. And yet somehow you associate it with debugging in your head. All right, so current version of demo and current version. Where's that printing out? Current version. Here, prompt for new version. Okay, you know what? I think printing it out from here then is not needed. All right, so what does it say? Current version. We could have it print the flavor as well. I guess we don't really need colorful text for everything, do we? Current version of... this can be green. All right, so what do you want the new version to be? So let's say we pick 0.8.4. New version that you typed 0.8.4-demo. Oh, it's going to run the release thing now? Yeah. I don't think we need to say new version that you typed. New version that you typed. Yeah, so delete this. And now it's going to run the exports, which takes like a minute and a half. I do not want to upload this stuff. Please remember that I do not want to upload. NPC not doing what they need. Hey, Vibe Puff. As long as it's cookies and cream, I'm all in for flavors. I like cookies and cream. I think, at least in the US, it's pretty much associated with Oreo flavor. Is that true? No, there's some chocolate bars, I guess, that have cookies and cream, but I generally consider it to be like an Oreo flavor. I am going to wait for this. We might as well at this point. It's like halfway done. So it tells you which command it's running. Oh, and it does that. Oh, yeah, we already fixed that. It tells you what command it's running and tells you when it's successfully exported. Okay, I'll call them black and white cookies. Oh, actually, isn't that what people call half moon cookies? These are pretty good. Yeah. But I've said this in the past. The best cookie are these cookies. Oh, so good. Peanut butter cookie with a Hershey's Kiss in the middle. Very tasty. All right, so do you want to upload to Steam? No, I do not want to upload to Steam. Do you want to upload to Itch? No. And then it tagged it with these tags, which we're going to need to delete, which I probably accidentally already included. But if I do get log -1. Oh, no, I tagged many things, didn't I? Huh. Let's do -10 here. Yeah, this one, this one has a bunch of tags. And it got that tag as well. Can I undo that? And if so, how do we undo that? Get tag -D083 demo. Deleted tag. Error tag not found. Oh, I see. We're deleting tag name, not on a specific commit. So now if I do get log -10. Oh, there it was. Yeah, so this is correct. I'm happy with that. This is bad. We need to delete this tag. Get tag -D. Hey, narrative sprint. I enjoy the chocolate orange soft pastries. My mouth is watering. What are these things? Which does it look most like? This? Because I can't say I've probably had any of these. Yeah, I don't think so. Let me find a pic. Yeah, I'm curious. Soft pastry. Okay, so running command, list all the ones that we have here, otherwise add it. Yeah, that's looking good. Okay, so now I think this is a little bit more useful. If we were to cut out the build process, there's not really a point in testing this at this point, but yeah, we can delete that too. So we cut out the export and the ask to upload stuff. So now it's still going to tag, which I'm going to delete afterward. So all we're doing is we're running this one more time just to make sure it's not very noisy in its output. So run Steam, then we pick which version we want. Let's pick playtest. Now it says current version is 082 playtest. Let's press enter. Oh, interesting. So now it says tag already exists. So what didn't it do at this point? And maybe we should handle this more gracefully. No, I don't think I want to do anything about that yet. So if I do get log -1. Yeah, nice. We're fine. Okay. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. Okay, let's check that in. So we can revert this. What are your thoughts on AI now able to do some code? I think it's generally a good thing. You asked very generally, or what are my thoughts? But one of the thoughts that I have, which is not what people I think are generally talking about, is it's lowering the accessibility barrier to entry. And I talked about this in terms of art. I'm terrible at drawing. Everyone who's seen me draw anything knows that. And yet I can say to an AI, like, draw a cartoon dog playing a video game or something like that. And in probably like 3 seconds, it's going to generate something. Sure, maybe it messes up the pause, or it's playing some like fake video game or the text is blurry or something, but it's still way better than I would have done. And if all I'm doing is trying to communicate an idea to someone or send a meme, it's like, wow, now I can do that. I didn't need to learn anything about art to do that. I think it's the same thing with coding. There are a lot of people out there who have some ideas and they want to explore them, but they just have no idea how, or they know how, but they know that the path is going to take them too long. So now they can open up an editor and have an AI at their side and do something. It's not going to produce great code. It's probably going to be incorrect in a lot of cases or insecure in a lot of places, but it's something they wouldn't have been able to do before. And I think that's pretty amazing. But that's, I think, not typically what people are asking about. They're typically asking about, like, will I lose my job? Will AI take over? Has it deemed me to be a not valuable human? All right, nice. Okay, so this is looking good. Remove some noisy logging is pretty much all we're doing here. This is also looking good. Again, just noisy logging removed. And then what's the last thing here? Get rid of a space, yeah. So clean up logging. There was a lot of superfluous logging. Hey, Cuddlefish. Thoughts on making the default for upload no rather than yes, so you're actively got to input to upload to avoid mistakes? So they're only the two platforms, Steam and Itch. Steam, it doesn't matter if it's automatic. It actually doesn't even really need to prompt me because there are extra steps to make it live. On Itch, it might kind of matter, but then the traffic is much lower to Itch. So when I go to Itch and look at my game analytics, the number of downloads is about 2,100. This doesn't count unique downloads though. So there are probably some people who count for like 7 of these downloads. And then this number of views. Whereas on Steam, it's like an order of magnitude higher. So let's say I accidentally upload the wrong build to Itch. It's probably not a big deal. You familiar with those? Common filling is dulce de leche. Don't know how you say this in English. There are some other flavors. I'm not familiar with those. Is that what you're talking about though? Oh, this looks pretty good. What is that though? Coconut? I'm not a big fan of coconut in my desserts. And I think that's coconut. If this originated in the US, that would have been sugar on the outside. Two different things. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh. I see what you're talking about. This. Okay. Yeah, if these are soft, I think they'd probably be good. They look like they're the crunchy ones from the picture, but you mentioned that they're soft. Maybe I'm hungry. If that's something you may use on there. I'm already using AI for this. I'm not like vibe coding or something. AI for me is mostly smart autocomplete, and sometimes it's saving on using a search engine. I was just talking about these yesterday, but as an example, in Python, it's like, let's say you want to read a file and then change something and then write that file. This is not a difficult task. There's no originality in doing this. Having an AI do this for you is basically just it writing boilerplate for you. So I think something like that is something I would have gone to a search engine and been like Python read file. And then it would usually have, now it's got AI responses right here, but it would usually have something right at the top where you just click this and be like, oh, okay, file open. And you copy this anyway. So an AI doing this is basically just saving you the steps of looking it up online. But for other things, I wouldn't necessarily trust it, or I wouldn't want to deal with the hassle of figuring out the right prompt. Oh yeah, and then the release instructions right into this. So we have this releasing.md. All right, so this is going to be totally wrong now. All right, from the root directory. Actually, not even from the root directory. What we can do is just open VS Code. And then what is this called? Run and debug. How do we focus that? Run and debug. Focus on show. Here it is. Show, run, and debug. Perfect. Okay, that's what we want. So it's view, show, run, and debug. Run the view, show, run, and debug command. And choose release tool from the drop down at the top. So then we don't do this. We don't do this. This would be nice to know. So I should probably have this in my notes if it's not already there. Export templates. I guess it's just that the export button is disabled. If the button is disabled, where is that button? Project, export. I can't do this here. But yeah, I'll just write this down. Export buttons are disabled. This could be due to not having export templates installed. C, how do we link to this? Type pound to link heading. There. Yeah, perfect. Nice. Find it helps me with annoying configures a lot. Yeah. I think there are a lot of little things it helps with. And I always kind of mention this in terms of just texting someone. Imagine you want to type, "What are you doing today?" You can probably just type "what" and then A. And then tap, 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 and you've got the rest of your sentence. And this is something that's pretty well ingrained in people nowadays. It's like, oh yeah, I used autocomplete. And sure, it wasn't backed by an LLM. It was typically just knowing which common trios of words appear together. But still, it's something you use, and now you probably rely on it. And yet, it's not like you forgot how to speak English. Although I guess the similar thing would be a lot of people have forgotten how to spell. Maybe they never knew to begin with, though. It's kind of impossible to tell. All right, may need to download export templates. Open a build just to make sure it runs and I didn't commit debug stuff. Oh, there's no way to... Okay, maybe we should do this then as part of the release process. Yeah, I think that'd be nice. Could prompt us to open a build. Add a prompt for whether it should open a build. It could have the platform in the prompt. Mac, Windows, Linux. Or it could just tell which platform you're on. Yeah, I'll just say it could just default to opening the Mac version. If I say yes. All right, what else do we have here though? So open a build. So we don't need to do this anymore. Upload to itch. It may take a minute before it shows the new builds on the edit game page. You shouldn't need to take any action. So this is the kind of thing I want the program to tell me. So we have the upload tools and we have upload to itch right here. And this was successful. So now it should say this other stuff. It may take a minute before they're available for download. No, that's not what I want. I wanted to say what it says here. Before it shows the new builds on the edit game page, you don't need to take any action on itch for the new builds to be downloadable. There, yeah. Also gotten worse at spelling. Oh, by the way, speaking of this, I shouldn't be calling you out live, but your YouTube comment that you left on Bragg Apple's video has a typo in it. Let's see if you can find it. Oh man, Kevin's like, why am I working with this person again? So this isn't needed anymore. Upload to Steam. So we don't need to do this. When there's an update, running the script will do nothing but update Steam CMD. So you'll have to run this twice. We should probably write this in our Steam command that or Steam note that we have. Yeah, here. And we don't have a Steam CMD thing, do we? No. All right, I'll make a troubleshooting section. We'll just put that there. Troubleshooting. Steam CMD updates instead of running my command. If an update is available, then something like, what is the command? Upload to Steam. Something like this. Steam CMD login foo run app build bar.vdf. Maybe it's the quit that's doing it. Maybe if I didn't have quit, it would have restarted. Steam CMD -- help. Help topic. What is it? App build? Run app build? Unfortunately, I just deleted the output. So app build. Full documentation is beyond the scope of this little help system. It says here you can write find string to see a list. Oh, wait, no. Here, help topic for more information. There is no more information. Why would you advertise that you have more information? We're not going to tell it to me. Might as well just include a link to the documentation, right? Weird. All right, an update is available. Then running commands will typically just automatically perform the update and then not run the command. It will exit with code 42 when this happens. What I've generally done is to run steam cmd -- help just to make sure it's up to date. Then run my actual command. Yeah. Also the instead of they. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not something you could auto-correct via a script or anything because the and they are both words. But like I sometimes would type like variable and I just made it auto-correct it to variable for me because at least the first one's not a word. All right, running the script will do nothing. Nice. Okay, so now here's where these steps are still the actual steps we need to do. Go here and put the build on default. Don't show that on stream since password show in plain text. If SteamGuard won't confirm and it's Tuesday, then it's probably a maintenance window. Okay, so does Spectre have a way of printing out nice lists? I think it's got lists. No, I mean, I guess a list is just a new line and some bullet points, right? There's a line, columns, panel, table, tree, bar chart, rows. Yeah, I'll just make my own list, I guess. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, Spectre is pretty cool. I like this a lot. All right, the build, though, is actually for a certain flavor that we did. Oh, man. We probably should have coded this into the build flavors thing. Not used to having to think about spelling in Spanish. Yeah, must be nice. Well, it must be nice when you're speaking Spanish. Probably not when you're speaking English. All right, we're never going to be done with this. So upload to Steam. At the end of this, it says successfully uploaded. So now it should tell me the other instructions that we have. Or maybe it could do all of this at the end of the whole program. And it could keep track of whether we uploaded to Steam. The announcements need to go everywhere. And the news stuff. I don't know if there's a specific news section for the playtest of a game. Man, some of this stuff's not apparent to me because we don't have the playtest version. By the way, we got some more reviews, which is looking pretty good. Oh, in fact, we got one more since I looked. Let's see if we can find it. June 14th. No, I've seen that one then. Recent. No, I've seen both of those. This is like the hardest thing to find because even when you search for the right thing, you sometimes might not see it. Here it is. Enjoyable demo. Not sure how much more content you have planned, but went through this pretty quickly. 2.3 hours is pretty quickly. Anyway, the plan is for there to be in the like 5 to 10 hour range. But yeah, cool. Glad people are reviewing this positively. Remove all the filters, then filter by positive, and usually that shows them. Yeah, I found the most reliable way is to click that chart of the dates. 100 hours of story alone. Yeah, I want a 100-hour long cutscene that you have to wait through. You have to watch it in one sitting. It's going to quiz you every once in a while. Like, what just happened 2 hours ago? Okay, so this is only if we upload it, and it's once we're done with everything. We could just say it in the Steam instructions. I just want to have some like follow-up section, which means we need to handle not tagging this in a certain way. But I guess it should just be done when we upload to Steam. So sure, fine, let's do this. So upload to Steam, successfully uploaded to itch, successfully uploaded to Steam. So yeah, this is where we'll put the rest of these instructions. So this isn't needed anymore. So the build is going to change 3445480. That should show up in the VDF file that we use somewhere, which isn't even here. No, there it is. 3445480. Yeah, that. So we need to know what our app ID is based on what flavor we uploaded, and then give you a URL with the right thing. So I guess let's go to build flavors and get our app IDs. Yeah, sure. All right, Steam app IDs. So demo is this. Playtest is this. Oh, these should be strings. What am I doing? And the release version is this. Okay. Then we make a new function here. Should know what I want to do. Perfect. All right. What we could also do is parameterize where these VDF files are, or just name them in a deterministic way. Yeah. Mr. Review that's in German. I don't think I saw that. Oh, because now there are two that are not in this. What does this say? Translate. A nice, relaxed little management game without pressure where I'm curious what is different in the full version. Well, a lot of people are left wondering. Neat. Very cool. Okay, so log informations. So successfully uploaded to Steam. I'd like to use Spectre here for this. Where do we do the rest of that? We so rarely use Spectre for this, huh? Console, ANSI console. Markup line. Okay, put this at the bottom. So green, successfully uploaded to Steam. And then we say manual steps /n. So go to, well, we need the URL, I guess. String URL, builds URL is going to be equal to HTTPS, build flavor, Steam app ID. Yep, this can just be flavor. Okay. Go to, oh, you can make links? Is that a thing in Spectre? No, I don't think so. Unless it's, where's styles? Text blink, blink, creates a clickable link within text. Okay, this is potentially dangerous though, because this is a private link. All right, let's try this out before we get to that point. Let's do it from here. Yeah, it's a half step up from C. Yeah, multiple biomes and requires certain progression. Yeah. Make it a narrative dating game. So spectre.console. I want to see what happens when we make a link. Link Steam. And then how do you say what the text is? There's no... I'm guessing this thing knew what to do for this, but it would be nice to have documentation on that. Oh, I didn't even... Or I don't know. Let's just try this. And then just say throw new exception. Actually, let's not even throw an exception. Let's just do that. See what happens. Oh, I didn't close the other thing. There. Because what I want to find out is, can I just click it or do I need to shift click or something? It says option click. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I wanted to make sure I couldn't do this. So I alt click and it says, do you want code to open the external website? Open. Okay, yeah, I guess that's fine. I mean, at that point, is it really any different from just not having the link text there? What if I just delete this? Because I assume that VS Code knows how to detect a link. It does. So it's exactly the same. It's just, do we want the underline there or not? And yeah, I think the underline's nice. Okay. Jesse Pinkman, thanks for the sub. Howdy, howdy, howdy. The click is handled by the terminal. Oh yeah, I guess what you're saying then is that it could make it so that just a single click would do it. Oh man, I got something in my eye. All right, well, in our upload thing, we can start to use this now. So go to link. So the way this worked over here was we just put it inside the link brackets and it worked. So go to link, builds URL, and put the build on default. There's an extra slash there. Don't show that on stream since passwords show in plain text. Red. Okay. And then if SteamGuard won't confirm, so how do you make multi-line strings in C#? C# multi-line string. It's an @ Can you make multi-line interpolated strings? You can. So $@ that's what we want. Successfully uploaded to Steam. So now manual steps. Go here. Don't show that on stream. If SteamGuard won't confirm and it's Tuesday, then it's probably a maintenance window. Wait 15 minutes and try again. And if you get an error about trying again later, it's not during maintenance. Can you make italicized text? Italic. Then it probably worked, but through a spurious error. In that case, confirm by going to the link above and making sure default is pointing at the right build. Yeah, sounds good. Hey, Jessica. Okay. Any other manual steps? Post announcements. And then post in Discord as well. All right, I guess we're just going to paste this over here, huh? So paste this. So post any announcements. Steam link. This has the app ID in here. This is what I was saying. I don't know if there's a news page specific to any of these apps. In fact, I don't think there is, because if I click news, this is for the main app, right? 3226210. That's what this is. 3226210. Yeah. So then if I look at the demo and I put this into the news bar, I think it just redirects you to the main app. No, it redirects you to the demo page. So there is no community hub for a demo. So there's probably no community hub for the playtest either. So then we can just leave this as this URL no matter what. So post any announcements. Post on Steam. Delete this. And then I'll write see past news events for examples. Consider making it a regular update so it shows on the Steam page. Consider giving it a subtitle, e.g. Skeleseller farming changes. Why is this highlighted weirdly? How do you escape a quotation mark in here? Oh, by making double quotes. Consider adding pictures of any visual changes. My process is this. This process is going to change. Yeah. No, I think these get picked up by incremental DB updates, and it seems like people find the game. I'll just delete that. I don't care about that. And then post on Discord. Oop. I want these to be spaces. Cool. Okay, that is a heck of a message. Yeah, so let's print just all of this out. Just from here. This is going to be specter.anc console.markup line interpolated. And then this we'll just put a fake link here. We'll just say HTTPS. Actually, let's just put the Steam link. So that's not the real link. That's okay though. Type or namespace does not exist. Specter.console.anc console. Okay, let's try running that. How's it going? Looks like things are progressing nicely. Yeah. We've been working on a release tool. So up until this point, all we've had is one version of the game, and it happened to be the demo. But now we're making content that won't be in the demo, but we don't have a proper launch yet. So we're going to make a playtest version, and it's going to be in this. And the playtest version is going to basically be all content and some cheats. And then when we finally get to the release version of the game, it's going to be all content and no cheats. So we have demo is not all content and no cheats. So this is our little matrix of stuff. Not all content, no cheats, all content and cheats, all content and no cheats. So we need 3 different like release flows for this. And this is what's going to handle this. Take care, Grim. Have a good day at work. Takata, if you can C++ minor. I love C++ minor. Play an augmented C++ core. Unhandled exception. Encounter closing tag. Okay, so I messed up the tags on this. Oh, that's going to be hard to find. All right, so that one's closed. That one's closed. That one's closed. That is. That is. That one is. There's an extra closing tag there. All right, so now I should run. Hopefully we get lots of useful feedback. Yeah, I'm hoping that too. All right, so successfully uploaded to Steam. Manual steps. Go to this link. So I can alt click that if I want to. And put the build on default. Don't show that on stream since password shown in plain text. If SteamGuard won't confirm it as Tuesday, if you get an error about trying again later, then post any announcements. Post to this. See past news events for examples. Consider making it a regular update. Consider giving a subtitle. Even directly in the title. Kind of weird phrasing, right? Consider adding or setting a subtitle. Oh, I see what I meant to say for this. Consider titling with some interest, I guess I'll just say. With something interesting. Yeah. Consider adding pictures and post a process. Post on Discord and playtest news with any changes. I'd like that to be in yellow. And that's it. Okay. Let's copy this back to where we took it from. So paste this here. And now instead of the first link that we have, we want it to be the builds URL. Now we delete all of this. And we hope that looks good in the future. Ooh. All right, so the release instructions, what do they actually say at this point? Make sure you're on main and then open VS Code, run from, you know, we could actually have this make sure for us that we're on main. The release tool could just check the current branch. We might want to export from other branches though. We don't have that as a requirement right now. Yeah, I'll just leave this as is for now. So open VS Code should do that. Yep, that's all good. Steam Notes, I downloaded the SDK, ran their macOS specific instructions, logged in as autonomous, followed the instructions on this page. So this is like Steam CMD setup. Here are the depot IDs for the demo. Sure. Something differs between the editor built version and the exported version. Try reloading your project. Yeah, nice. Okay, cool. Wow. This is going to be great. Put release instructions right into release tool. Oh, what? Did something get deleted? Probably had changes. Yeah, this should be reverted. I think I accidentally deleted something. So that's looking good. Looks good. Cool. This says it a lot of it will be there. Yep. Yeah, nice. Steam upload sucks compared to itch. I think they have their pros and cons. So itch, it doesn't have auto updating of Butler as far as I know. So it won't stop your command from running. And then it automatically makes the build live. This is either a pro or a con, depending on how you see it. Like having an extra verification step could be nice. But I think they're both pretty easy once you get them going. Steam has a lot more going on in general. Like you could localize builds. You could have like 3 different versions of your app in the store. There's a lot you can do. And so add a prompt to whether it should open the build. It's just default to the map. Okay, so how much more time do we have to spend on this? This one shouldn't take too long. This I already did, I think. Git log. Git show. How do you... Oh, I'm just not in the right spot. Yeah, that's fine. So I've already done this. Figure out what we do with that. Figure out what we do with that. Consider that we probably do want to make sure we're starting from a clean slate. Run Steam CMD with help at the beginning. We did that. Print out all modified files at first. So you can make sure nothing looks fishy. Saving the game version directly in that. Replace alpha with placeholder. Change release instructions based on what I wrote in the above. Yeah. Okay, there's not too much left. Maybe another hour or so. Maybe 2 at the most. I should probably take a break. Time is it? 11:09. Okay, so yeah. Where I left off, still just working through this stuff. Hopefully we'll be done by 1 p.m. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break then. Is it jump time? Oh. That didn't work, and I crashed into the green screen. Is it jump time? What is going on here? What does it think I'm saying? Tail captions. Where even is this? Temp? It thinks it's saying jumped time. Is it jump time? It's jump time. It finally heard me. Okay, Twitch chat. You can type join. You can jump to the top. Try to compete. Have fun. I'll be back in a little bit. All right, hi again, everybody. How do I join? You just type join in chat. Just the plain English word, no exclamation mark. And then you can type something like J to jump straight up, J5 to jump slightly to the right, and J -10, let's say, to jump even a little bit further to the left. What is this for? This is just the game that we play on our breaks. So I did this as kind of like a code jam sort of thing. I made the base game in about 3 days. Then Darkstorm worked on it a bit. We made some small improvements to things. All right, close the game. All right, what in the world is here? Close the game. There we go. It heard was the game. Silly captions. Okay, let's keep going. Prompt whether it should open the build is just default to opening the Mac version. No. No, Matt. All right, so after exporting, I guess is when we would check this. We could have it open and then still run the rest of the things. I wonder if it just open it by default. Let me think about this. Why would I ever not want it to open? Okay, what I really want is for there to be like a separate log file of what happens in the game. So let's say the game just crashes as soon as it opens. It's going to throw an exception, or maybe not crash. Let's say, I don't know, it's going to print out all the game stuff, like loaded in 340 milliseconds or something like that. And I don't know, found 10 items or something. I don't want this stuff to print in the release log, but I want it to print somewhere. I guess we could redirect it to a file. I don't think it's worth doing at that point. Yeah, I'll just manually do this. Open, what's it called? Open Mac build? Open export to Mac build, yeah. So how about I just have it print this out? Yeah, that'd be great. Let's do that. Copy path of active file. So we'll just say run this, and I should just be able to paste that into a prompt, and yeah, it should work. Okay. that should work. Okay. All right, so where's export? There it is. Export all platforms. Export platform. Successfully exported the platform. So if it has failed, we should probably throw. Does this throw now? Whoops. No, it doesn't. Okay, that's bad. Else throw. Failed to export with exit code. Please check the logs for more details. Sounds good. And if it successfully exported all of them, then we can print here and see console dot markup line. All platforms exported successfully. If you want to test the Mac version, run. Does pink work? Hang on a second. Run this. So this is correct for me. But I guess what we want to do is get path to run Mac build script. Yeah, there. All right, so now this is interpolated, and the string of that, whoops, path to run Mac build script is equal to path tools dot current working directory joined with this stuff. Path dot combine. All right, argument cannot convert from string to formatable string. There we go. Okay, I just want to see what this looks like. So when we get to export, let's just skip it. And let's try running that now. Hey, Leo. I just want to say I'm really looking forward to the game. Yeah, I checked out your VOD yesterday. I watched all of it. And I was a little disappointed that there wasn't commentary because I was curious what you were thinking. But generally, I could tell by where you were moving the mouse. And yeah, you seem to have fun. So I'm really happy you checked it out. How did you find out about the game? All right, so we're just going to pick any of these things. And then any of this too. And then this failed. Could not find color pink. Oh, so pink is not valid. Spectre console. What colors can you use? Purple? Fuchsia. Okay, I want fuchsia. Because I want it to match what I do for executables, which is fuchsia. This is why we test this. All platforms exported successfully. Run this. Oh, it opens the file. So I guess we'd have to copy this. Does that work? Oh, what is going on? Yeah, okay, that works. Trying to find a... Oh, my com, I see. Yeah. Yeah. That's too bad. I don't have too much that can help there. The only thing I've ever experienced like that in the past is if the cable is running through something else that's causing some interference. I guess it's also possible that the mic has just lived its life. It's ready to move on to greener pastures. The great guitar center in the sky. All right, so this is looking good. Let's put this back in. All right, happy enough with that. So now this thing can ask if we want this thing done. Revert that, revert that. This shouldn't have changed at all. Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. And then here's the only change that we have here, right? Looks good. Failed to export, cool. So we technically did two things. In fact, actually this on its own is a good change. Throw exception on failure to export. And then the other thing we did is print how to print the script to open the Mac build. I don't want to automate this because I want the game output going elsewhere. And while I can redirect the output to a file, it's just not worth spending the time coding that. Found you in here in the software category. Oh, cool. Okay. So you found out about the game through Twitch. Gotcha. Yeah, like I said, thanks again. It's cool to see people play the game. Originally, let's say like 12 months ago, that might have been roughly when we had what I called checkpoint 1, which was just the first playable build. And at that point, it was so rough around the edges that the kind of feedback we were getting wasn't really game feedback. It was things like why can't I resize the window, or why is the text blurry? Little things that on their own, if it was the only issue, like if you were like, oh, I can't resize the window, okay, well, the game's otherwise perfect, fine, I won't complain about that. But there were so many of these that it stopped people from even really enjoying the game or commenting on it. And then assuming you had none of these or you weren't bothered by these, there also just wasn't a lot of game back then. So now we're getting feedback that's more along the lines of like, how can we make the game more fun? And even then, it's kind of subtle sometimes what people might say or how they might interact with the game, because we've just spent so long iterating over it that we've fixed a lot of the issues people ran into. Yeah, why is there a small black bar? Exactly. We had sprite bleeding. We had so many different kinds of things. So figure out what we want to do with this script. So should this script still exist? What did I write? Maybe good to have a way to export the way we do. Maybe we should do that through release. Yeah, I think we should just delete this whole thing. Is there anything this is doing now that we're not doing? We're doing this. We have a link to that. We're technically not checking this right now. We run this. We run this. We run this. Yeah. So this is the only part that we're not doing. So I think we should delete this. So say goodbye to this script. That's the thing. I don't want to say much because I know it's a demo. No, you definitely should say all of the feedback you have. Because if I don't hear that feedback, it won't get fixed for release. So if there was something that was frustrating you, feel free to share. And if it's something that's like super long form, you can type it in the Skeleseller Discord. But yeah, that feedback is how we've improved. Because I will say this, what I'm planning for launch, like right now it's the demo, and hopefully September-ish is when we launch. What I'm planning to do is probably work on localization, work on some more content, so more adventurers, perks, bosses, etc. And then maybe add challenge modes for some replayability. I'm not going to go into what this is, but anyway, replayability is the focus on it. And then some polish and bug fixes, but there's not going to be a lot of time left for this stuff. So if you're like, oh, I didn't like this feature, but he's probably got it on his radar, it'd be nice to know what it is. Because yeah, the main things we're going to focus on are things that if we just made this demo better, hopefully people will enjoy the game. Yeah, sounds good. And thank you. And don't feel like you need to sugarcoat it or anything. I want you to just get whatever content you have out. I've probably heard everything at this point. I mean, you don't need to call me a jerk or something in the feedback, but I don't want people to spend too long working on phrasing and then not get their feedback out. All right, so this we're not going to save, and then probably the same thing with upload to Steam. Is this doing anything that we actually need? It was creating a temporary directory, unzipping all the builds there, and then running steam.cmd or steam.cmd to upload all of this. Yeah, I don't think we need this anymore either. I was supposed to be getting an important email and it didn't arrive. Did any of you break the server? Wasn't me. I plugged all those cables back in. Upload to Steam can be gone now. Goodbye, scripts. Okay, yeah. So remove vestigial scripts. Now that we have the release tool, we don't need the scripts I was using for the same functionality. All right, so consider that we probably do want to make sure we're starting from a clean slate. So that's what this does. It just, well, this checked export presets at least, but we could just check diff for everything. I'm still torn on this. There might be changes that you have that are, I guess you should always wipe out any changes you had and commit. So you should be working from a clean slate. So yeah, I think that's what I want to do. Yes, scissors in his hand. They say don't run with scissors, but they don't say don't jump with scissors. Maybe they should. If all your friends jumped off a bridge with scissors, would you also jump off a bridge? I think just get diff should be enough to do this, right? Get diff. And then echo $? So it's 0. But if we modify literally any file, so let's say we go to releasing and we type an A at the end, and then we run get diff, and then we run echo ? Oh, it's still 0. Oh, -- exit code is what we want. Whoops. Exit code. So now we echo $? And it is 1. But we revert this. And now it is 0. So by the way, the Apple colors itself differently. If there's ever a non-zero exit code, it's colored red. So we knew it wasn't 0. And then this is green, so we knew it was 0. I didn't technically need to do that. But I did anyway. Okay, yeah. So this is what we should do. So let's do this from the beginning of the release tool. We have a whole bunch of other sort of tools here. I don't think any of these, maybe version tools would do it. Yeah. So let's put something like that. I think this should go at the very beginning. Maybe after this stuff, like version tools dot ensure no git changes are present. I don't even know if I want to pass in the logger for this. I might need to. Yeah, I need to. Okay. Let's go add this in. Internal static void ensure whatever I said it was. Ensure no git changes are present. Sure. So we run git diff -- exit code. And then if the exit code is not equal to 0, then it actually does have changes. So I guess put this here. There are uncommitted changes in the repository. Please commit or stash them before proceeding. We want to make sure that the build is reproducible, which means having all of those changes in the commit history. Yeah, sure. Good job, AI. So let me just delete this. Okay, so if I run, it should do everything it used to do, just totally fine. Oh, I do have changes, so never mind. No, it's not. It's going to fail. It should fail just fine. Yeah, so I hit this, and it says there are uncommitted changes in the repo. And I think I had something here, print out all the modified files. So we could have it print them for you too. Although that's probably unnecessary since I'm probably going to run this from VS Code and I could just see them there. So it's dead. It's probably not worth doing. I would just print git status anyway. Or like a git status, maybe like just list the thing. Porcelain. Yeah, we could print that. I don't think it's necessary. Hey, McGrew. How am I doing? I'm doing well. I'm feeling pretty good. Checking for uncommitted changes is a smart idea. Yeah, and now we block it. So I think that's good. I just wonder, should we print out which ones have been changed? It's going to be through an exception anyway, so it's going to look weird. No, I don't think so. I don't think we need to do it. I know how to run git status. So all of this is done now. We can go check that in. Ensure we're starting from a clean slate. This runs git diff to make sure that there are no changes. So now if we run it, now we have no changes. So now it should work. Let's try this out. Nice. There's one thing that's kind of annoying, which maybe we can fix this, maybe we can't. But when I press F5, it opens up this console, but it doesn't give it the focus. So now there's a choice. And if I press down, nothing happens. I have to click here first and then press down. There might be a way to auto-focus the terminal, but I'd only wanted to do it when running this particular program. And if there were, it'd be in launch.json. So I guess let's look at release tool and see if there is a way to do this. No, probably not. I don't see anything here. No, there isn't. Okay, well, anyway, worth a shot. Okay, so what's the last thing? Replace alpha with placeholder. The whole thing is a placeholder since we dynamically set it. I don't think the version will matter for us at all. You can look back and forward. Write code that will revert project Godot back to saying placeholder. Yeah. Yeah. So we say placeholder here. Or maybe set via code before releasing. Something like that. The problem is, okay, so now if we run Skeleseller itself, I just click play up here. Does that run? No, it doesn't. I gotta press the button. Console may take an object instead of a string, maybe. I'm not sure. I don't think it's really worth looking into. I don't mind just clicking there. Okay, so now it says this, set via code before releasing. So maybe we should say placeholder version. Placeholder version set before releasing. It's a lot of text, and it's going to show on the title screen too. But it's just when I'm developing it. So let's go to the title screen and see what that looks like. Placeholder version set before releasing it. When will I release the game? I think it sounds kind of cliche, but like when it's ready, although not exactly, we are still kind of treating this like it's a deadline. It'll probably be about 3 months from now. Placeholder version set before releasing the quotation mark. Oh, the hyphen could be a bit better there. I wonder if just placeholder version is fine. I think that's okay. Yeah. Also, hi, Duchesne. Yeah, there. I think that's good. Okay, so that's what we should probably look for in this file that we make. We replace it no matter what, but we got to set it back to what it used to be at the end of all of this. Maybe anyone who develops the game, or is there anyone else? There are other people working on the game. They're all in the credits there. So Darkstorm, Quickie Joe, Ski, and Kevin. All right. So I'm pretty sure this is going to work just fine. And then this remove command handler, we're also going to need to remove, actually we can do this before we tag. In fact, this is only needed for exporting, isn't it? Yeah. So we could also reset the project version back to nothing, pretty much. Yeah, it'll go. Or I could just revert the whole file. Yeah, we shouldn't have any changes. If we did, checking out the file again would be very dangerous. So basically, here's the problem we have. In order to release, we need to set a version number. So we modify project.godot and do something like version equals 1.2.3-demo. And then at the end of the release, we should revert that. So option 1 would be just do a git checkout project.godot. Option 2 would be just replace that single line with version equals whatever I called it, placeholder version. And that's pretty much it. You'd only do one of those two things. I think this is fine to do because we ensure at the beginning that we haven't had any changes. So reverting back to having no changes, I think should be fine. So I think I'm going to lean toward this. I hope that they're a bit of fun for Kevin. I actually don't know. The kinds of tasks that he's had to work on are terrible, but he's done a great job. I'm very grateful. In the release management with the main project I work on, we have a human incremented version and a machine incremented build. So when we roll out a debug or test build, only the build number is incremented. Point of release, we may check the version using semantic versioning, then bump the tail number and do a release build. Yeah, what I've been thinking about with this stuff is I want to move on from this task. So probably things aren't going to be perfect or follow like best DevOps practices, but they might just be fine forever. and and yeah, I don't want to preemptively start complicating this process a bit if it turns out we just never need this. The thing I always kind of mention here is until you've actually launched a product, you have no idea how it's going to do. So let's say even with all the interest, let's say every single wish list, 100% of the wish lists convert to sales. So we have like 2,300-ish wish lists. So you multiply that by 7, and that's about how much money you'd make from this game. I don't think this is enough money to keep working on the game. It will have been a year and a half at that point. And just to give you an idea, minimum wage in Seattle. Minimum wage in Seattle here is pretty high. It is 2076. So a year and a half, you work about 2,000 hours per year. So it's 3,000 hours times 2076. And like this is what I'd get working at like McDonald's in 1.5 years. How do I type 1.5? There we go, 1.5 years. So anyway, that's kind of why I mentioned this. Like if you make a quarter of the money developing a game, it's like, okay, you wouldn't continue working on this. So any scripts that I'm working on now, it's like they should just do what they need to do and nothing more. And if we find out that the game makes $160,000 or $1.6 million or something, then yes, we should probably improve this stuff. When did you start coding and what was the first language? Yeah, it's the command that Kevin typed in there. The first language was basic. Or so chill. Thanks. Yeah. Read semantic commits and have that being automatic from git commit messages. Try to find that CI tool. Yeah, like I said, I think we'll just stick with what we have for now because I do want to move on from this, and ideally I want to move on in the next like hour. So I don't think we can code anything that fast to really change this. So for now, let's do a git checkout. So what we're gonna do is version tools.revert project Godot file logger. Basic on terminal or Visual Basic? I think it was called QBasic. Also, you only counted raw numbers, not the Steam cut nor taxes. I did count the Steam cut because the actual cost, the sale price of the game is going to be that. But yeah, I didn't count taxes. Either way, the point kind of remains the same, right? Like if minimum wage over that amount of time is $64,000, that making kind of anything less than $64,000 means you could have just worked at McDonald's. Again, this is not to denigrate McDonald's workers or anything like that. It's not the point. The point is minimum wage is pretty high here. So to not make minimum wage working means probably could have cut a lot of corners and just cut your losses sooner. Hey, Jackal. Okay, so we got to go write this version tools. Internal static void logger. So what we want to do is a git checkout. Oh, wow, I knew exactly what I want. Okay, well, that was easy. I didn't need to do anything. And if all we're going to do is have the process, so we can do with reporting here and then delete this stuff. All right, I'd like to test this. So let's just test that. Let's go to project.godot. We have a change there. Okay, it says, oh, we got to check that in though. Yeah. Okay, fine. Let's check that in. Replace version with placeholder. This way it's obvious that we're not meant to change it as developers. The release tool should be the only thing that modifies it, and it should do so based on the build flavor, on the flavor that we're building at the time. E.g., so the demo would be 1.2.3-demo, but the release version would be 1.2.3-release. I don't think there's a reason to check in the version, to check in the changes to project.godot since we'll have tags in Git. Yeah. It's a long commit message for changing one string. Okay, so now we can test this out. Now what we can do is we can go to project.godot and change this to something like, whoops, 1.2.3-demo. And then in release tool, run this and nothing else. And it should do exactly what you expect. This file is showing up here on the right, and it should just go away. Oops, I ran the wrong thing. I ran Skeleseller, not the build tool. Whoops. Okay, now we should see that go away. Yep, there it goes. Nice. All right, pretty good, pretty good. Did you start with game dev or web dev? I don't know what I was probably making exactly, but I think it was probably game stuff. 1 minute advertisement, what is that? Twitch requires all streams to have ads. There's no way to turn them off. Yeah, there's no way to get rid of that. I typed it because presumably my grower is in an ad right now, but yeah, there's only I could increase the amount. I can't lower the amount, but you can lower the amount by getting Twitch Turbo. Release tool. Okay, everything here is fine. Yeah. Okay. Revert project.godot at the end of the release. We modify it to inject the version information. And since we make sure there are no changes at the... Oh, you know what then? This remove command handler could just be to check out the export presets path. I think we should do that. Which would mean that we're not using this from anywhere. No, we wouldn't be using this from anywhere. Yeah. Well, in the future, we might have a need for it. But yeah, I should change this. We should say revert version changes, revert changes to version files. Something like that. Okay, so what do we want to do? We want to check out a specific file. And in this case, it's... Can you specify multiple things and get checkout? If you can, then never mind. This should be really easy. Restore working tree file. I'm just going to type this into an AI at this point. Can get checkout revert multiple files at once? I'm assuming the answer is yes. I just want to find out how. Dash dash file 1, file 2, file 3. Get restore is recommended for this purpose? Seriously? Restore working tree files. Wow, look at that. And yeah, just dash dash and path back. Nice, 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 nice. Do you have mods? Do mods have ads? I do have mods, and mods also have ads, yes. The only people without ads are subs and Twitch Turbo users. And again, you can't get around this. There's no way that I can set a setting like, oh, I want Jackal to not have ads. I also can't set ads down to 0. They need to be set to something. So what I have it set to is the minimum possible, and it runs 3 minutes every hour to avoid pre-roll ads. Pre-roll ads. If you like spreadsheets, I do. Fellow traveler forecasting template exter. What did it say? I can't read. I can't read the rest of the title. External. Oh, there we go. What is this? Oh, I see. Yeah. It's kind of interesting. I don't put a lot of stock into tools like this. The tool itself seems like it's fine. It's just running a math formula based on some percentages. But I think you can get your hopes up quite a lot by being like, well, hopefully we have 100,000 wish lists and hopefully 30% of those people convert. And there's this concept of quality of wish lists. I've talked about a little bit before based on what I've read, and I don't have a ton of experience with this, but let's say you got some sort of like, I don't know, view bots on Twitch. Those are not real viewers. They're not going to come back. They're not going to watch ads. They're not going to subscribe. So like the quality of those, they're bots, but the quality of those views are low. The same thing sort of happens with wish lists. If you were just like, hey, everybody, go wish list my game, and they have no intention of buying it, then your conversion rate's going to lower. And if you expected it to be higher, you might be disappointed by the amount of money you get. Use picture in picture to still listen. Oh, cool. Yeah. As a streamer, I wouldn't get ads on my own channel, I think. But even the one thing I wish Twitch would change here is when you raid another streamer, all of the raiders will see ads in the new channel. They should be immune for like 30 minutes or something. I feel like it's really bad when you raid into a channel and they're like, oh, I can't hear you. You say a word or two about how Twitch contributes to your livelihood. Just wondering if, say, 150 viewers brings home any bacon. My like monthly revenue from Twitch is probably in the like $300 range. So I can show you my sub count is whatever, like 160-ish. I don't push for subs. There are people with fewer viewers than me who have like double the number of subscribers. I'm not trying to sustain myself off of Twitch. Honestly, even though I tripled this number, it's like, is 900 a month gonna sustain me? No. So I am just kind of hoping that the game does well. Hey, Dillers. I think rating into a channel is random regarding ads. I don't think it's guaranteed one or the other. Yeah, I don't think so either, but it's still a shame. What are pre-roll ads? Oh, you started streaming? Nice. Pre-roll ads are what show up as soon as you enter a channel, and Twitch has a setting somewhere in here where, how do we find this? Ads. So Twitch has a setting where, and maybe you don't have access to this until you're an affiliate. I'm not actually sure. But if you have it automatically schedule at least 3 minutes of ads every hour, then you don't have pre-rolls. But if I lower this, then now it's going to run pre-rolls and it's going to, wait, something else is going to happen, right? I don't remember, but I think I just changed this. I think I want to set this back. Because there's some reason why I said you can't have this lower. I guess because then you end up with pre-rolls. But where does it say that? Here, fully disabled. Yeah, there it is, right there. Run 3 minutes of mid-roll ads to disable pre-roll ads. Yeah. So hang on one second. Hang on. My wife is calling and she knows I'm streaming. Hang on one second. Hello? Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, did I respond to everything? What would be advice for someone who, where'd that go? Who learns coding for making money? I mean, get in, get rich, get out. Okay, so I think you have two routes if you're going to do that. One is work for a big tech company, which would be very hard for you to do if you don't know how to code and you want to go right to working for a big tech company. And the other is make a killer product or a company yourself, which is possible. People have done this with little coding experience, but it's just generally not easy. So there's no easy route for this. You feel like getting rid of pre-rolls change average viewer count? I don't know. I didn't really pay super close attention. I thought it was helping at first, but the stats were kind of tough to tell. But yeah, I think it's pretty frustrating when as a new viewer, you join a stream and it's immediately like, oh, there's a bunch of ads. Like I tend to just close those streams and I blame it on Twitch, not the streamer. But yeah. Hey, Zeno, it's going well. Someone who's an affiliate I can check? Yeah, sure. You can still use it to get a close estimate of what you make because 0.7 isn't accurate. There are chargebacks and refunds, regional price. That's true. That's true. Yeah. That's a good point. and I hadn't considered that in there. So honestly, this is further skews the game dev economics. You sell a game for $10, you actually make a penny if you're lucky. So you get X% of subscription fees. How do they calculate how much you get from turbo users? So subs, yes, there's a 50-50 split by default, and then depending on how many sub points you have, or no, partner points, I think is what they call them, which is basically just recurring subs. Depending on how many you have, you can set that to 60-40 or 70-30. But for me to get to those levels, I would need to push for subscribers. And for turbo users, I think the way that it works is ads get shown, and then this is, I'm simplifying a little bit, but ads get shown to everybody. If you are a sub, you don't see them, and then I don't get any money from that. If you're a turbo user, you don't see them, and I do get money from that. So you won't get ads as a turbo user, but every Twitch streamer whose channel you're in should still be getting the money as though you saw it. Yeah. Doesn't get anything extra for turbo users, just another viewer. Yeah. Can't control ads at all, man. Gotcha. Yep. Yeah, it may have improved viewer retention. That's true. I think it's worthwhile to have done. I think you're the one who recommended that I do it, so I still appreciate that. I don't think you get ad revenue from subs. I don't think that's the case, because that's how I thought it worked. And I mentioned that to Redbeard, and he was like, I don't think that's how it works. Because I would just like leave his stream open and I'm subscribed and I'm like, I'm helping him, but I apparently wasn't. Now you are helping someone probably if they have like 10 viewers, and then you're 10% of their viewership. You're probably helping boost them in the category a little bit. Modified to inject the version information so to make sure they don't change at the beginning. It should be safe to revert any changes we made during the process. So this is correct, but I never change this to restore, and I never change this to path tools.export presets path. So let's go make sure that that works. If I go modify export presets, and let's just put an A up there, and then let's change project.godot to do the same thing. We'll put a B. So now if I were to do git status, we'll see changes for both of those. If I do git restore and paste this and this. Oh, I might need 2 hyphens. Now, if I do git status, they're both gone. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so we need the 2 hyphens in here too. Great. Great. So failed to revert project.godot and this. Yeah, this is fine. I'd rather interpolate this string. Failed to revert. Can it type this out for me? Yes, nice. Cool. What are you doing exactly? I'm also working at Godot. I'm working on a game called Skeleseller, but I'm making the release tooling for it. So I'll show you this in just a sec. Let me commit this, and then I can show you what I'm working on. I want to make sure this is looking good. Yeah, this is fine. And then the version tool has this here too. Okay, cool. And that should have been the final to-do item, right? Yes. Oh, thank goodness. All right, we're finally finished. Okay, so yeah, what we're working on with this is if I run this program, what it does, give it a sec. Okay, so it will update my Steam CMD. It makes sure I don't have any changes. Then it says, what do I want to release? Do I want to release the demo or the playtest version? So let's say I pick the demo here. So then it figures out from the Git history, what is the last version that I had, and asks for a new one. So I could say like 0.8.3 if I wanted to. I'm not going to do that. And then it's going to export all the builds from Godot. So it'll export Mac, Windows, Linux. And then it'll ask, do I want to upload it to Steam or do I want to upload it to itch? And then do the upload and then revert the changes I made in transit here. And then tag the new Git commit. So basically it handles all of this stuff from a very interactive prompt. Gonna need to figure that out at some point. Well, the way I started with this was with some really basic scripts. I'll show you what those look like. So we have upload to Steam. This is really simple. Here's the contents of it. It makes a directory, it unzips my builds there, and then it runs Steam CMD with a VDF file. This part is a little bit complicated if you've never used Steam before, but it's all Steam specific stuff. The script to do this is just one line. So this is what I started with, and this worked totally fine because all we had was a demo, but now we have more than just a demo. So we need to separate these somehow. I never got to run this stuff, so I'll just manually do this for now. Let me call you. It's been 10 plus minutes. Did somebody accidentally kill the phone server? Oh, whoops. I'm just randomly pressing buttons right now. Okay, let's go sync that. So the only other thing we need to do now is to add in the rest of this playtest stuff, but we made the release tool. Let me take a look at this. Add some debug features, so that we got to do. Try granting someone a playtest key. We can't do that yet. I wonder if Valve emails me. They probably do when they've approved the app. Yeah, they have not emailed me right now. So probably it hasn't been approved. Or the person who's going to call Kevin also needs to call me. So I think we go merge this branch and then work on the cheat menu. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So compare. This is going to be add release tool. This replaces all of the shell scripts that we were using for building and then uploading to itch/Steam. Create. All right, the only changes here should be stuff in like tools folders, basically. Yep. Yeah, I'm not even gonna read any of this because if anything's broken, we'll find out when we go to release. Normally I would review all this stuff. Well, I mean, I already did as I checked in. So yeah, merge. Cool. Okay. Oh, what I should have done. Okay, well, I guess it's not too late to do this. But what I should have done is say, this is part of 866. I think it'll still link it to 866. Like edits. Yeah. So yeah, that didn't matter. Got to figure out my UI stuff so I can have a proper demo. Excuse me. Yeah, the game for sure is the most important part. Then how you release it, it could be like an hour-long process at first. And as long as you eventually make it a little bit better on yourself, then it's not too bad. Okay, so here's going to be the first thing we do with playtesters, which is we're going to have a cheat menu for them, which is a limited cheat menu. So in the game right now, we have a full cheat menu. And playtesters should just have the ones that we know they actually want and will work. And I'm still not sure how exactly I want to do this. We could just modify this menu and cut out the options that we don't want to allow, or add in the options we do want to allow. What did I say we want here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 different cheats. And we pretty much have them all coded. Not quite, though. Yeah, we pretty much have them all coded. All right, well, how is this going to work? It's going to be, we detect that you have, oh, did I just put this side? Bumping the green screen. Yeah, not full on major gods. Nope. They can't phase through walls just yet. So how do we allow this thing to show up right now? Debug menu. This checks to see if you have, no, it doesn't. Something sets this up then. All right, let's search for debug menu. Cheats menu. Ah, here it is. Okay. I'm still debating on how I want to do this. We can check for the playtest feature or the debug feature, but we want to change what the contents of the menu would be. Oh, I should probably have a way of like faking having the playtest feature without needing to do anything special. Oh man. Maybe we should make a feature flags a file that just has this in there, or you could set it to true and that way it modifies every place that you have that. Yeah, I think that would make sense. All right, let's do that. Make a feature flags file that we can access from everywhere. That way, if we want to fake having a feature, we can just change that one spot. And then cheat menu needs to change. Cheats menu needs to, well, I mean, I guess we can just change that right now. Or os.has feature playtest. Then we got to delete things from here or change things. But main is currently responsible for adding these things. Or town, I guess. Should be a different menu altogether. So in debug, we can trigger both. Yeah, I guess we wouldn't really care. But I was thinking if the functions underneath these generally exist, then it shouldn't be that hard to just form the menu we want to form. Let me take a look. What do we do right now? So this is set up debug buttons. We have grant most things, show all signs. So what we could do is we could have some like an if statement here for if it's got debug, then we do certain things. Like maybe this one and this one. And if it has, well, I guess else is just going to have to be playtest. Then just do certain other things here, like grant money. I don't really mind. I don't like having all this code in main or in a town though. Yeah, I think this should be in debug menu. There was a reason why we didn't do that. I think because some of these have lambdas that access parts of town that aren't public. Like this technically. But we could just code this correctly and then get rid of a bunch of lines of code from here. In fact, why is this here? We have it for the sake of this and then set invincibility. We could read this from the instances manager if we wanted to. Yeah, we could just make this public. What else do we have here? Unlock all adventurers. I mean, yeah, some of this stuff is private right now. It could just be made public. Create customer is public. Create worker is public. Cheats menu, add button. We store the cheats menu just for the sake of what exactly here? For setup debug buttons? Anywhere outside of here? No. Yeah, I think a lot of this code can be moved. What else do we have? Inside cheats menu. Increase speed button text. This is already used in there. Upgrade shops. Get shops. Public. Yep. And debug draw screen. Yeah, I think we bump all this out of here. Do you have any hard rules for file sizes? Like if my class has 2,000 plus lines long, I should refactor. If my method is 500 lines long, I should refactor. Things like that. No, because I'm going to try to say this succinctly. Refactoring doesn't matter if your app never has any users. So you always have to consider that. There is a certain amount of tech that you can do that will make developing difficult. So let's say your entire program is one function. That is probably going to slow you down to a crawl whenever you make changes, such that you should fix that. But let's say you have a file that is 5,000 lines long. Like generally you shouldn't do that, but if it's not really slowing you down, who cares? Because you might not launch your game or your product. And when you do and you've got developers and it turns out it's slowing things down or you have some problem or you've, I don't know, got poor abstractions, then yeah, you can work on those. But otherwise, just a rule of like, oh, this file's too long, let's fix it. You could waste a bunch of time doing that. I'll thank you for the sub. And by the way, I ran into this the other day myself. We had a small thing I wanted to do. So like if we look at poison debuff. Oh. Hang on a second. I'm not on the right branch. I just realized. I pushed that though, right? Yes. Okay. Anyway, I made some changes to some constructors in a certain place where instead of passing in the same entity twice, in this case, never mind, this doesn't matter, but I refactored this. It had like no impact. It took me an hour. It made for technically more correct code, but did it matter in the end? It was probably a net drain on my productivity. All right, so I think I want to move this stuff. By the way, I realize what's happening right now. It's lunchtime. I'm like, why is my productivity slowing? It's because I'm hungry. I want to eat food. So I think what we should do is we should move all of the cheat stuff from town to either cheats menu or debug menu. I'm not sure why there are two of these. Why are there two of these? We may want to consolidate cheats menu and debug menu at the same time. Not sure why both exist yet. And then this will involve making things public from town.cs so that we don't need to rely. I don't like how it makes it into a link. http town.cs. So we don't need to rely on having the code in town. The worst but cheapest burger in Seattle. I think I've only had them once. I didn't think it was that bad. How come you haven't adopted cursor yet? I just have no real interest. So bad, but so cheap. I mean, I know enough about your work situation that you don't need to get the cheapest burgers that exist. So you must like it to some extent. Having something be cheap will only override bad taste for so much. Like, let's say you had a burger that was, I don't know, like $6 and you rate it at a 5 out of 10 versus the burger you actually like is $20 and it's an 8 out of 10. Like, yeah, sure, okay, I could see going for the cheap one maybe. But yeah, there's a limit to that in both directions. So debug menu is a base class, as Kevin said. And cheats menu inherits from that. Okay, I see. I think that can be fine then. So the draw menu shouldn't even be accessible to playtesters. Debug draw screen. What makes this thing show up? Do we ever have debug in here? Oh, it's gonna be accessible. No. Wait. Hold on. That just says draw on it. That opens up a menu that we just won't even show, right? Yes, we just won't do that. Okay, so then that's not a problem. So then that makes sense. So cheats menu is where we'd put this stuff. Gives me memories when Amazon flew me up to Seattle for my on-site. I was poor during college. So there's nostalgia. So that improves the taste by 1.5. Okay. I mean, I think this stuff is all scoped pretty well now. I don't have any changes, do I? Not really. Just this thing. And then, did I mention this? I wanted a way to test this. I think we just modify feature flags. So I guess at the end of all this stuff, test that this worked by changing feature flags so that we have playtest on by default. And then turn off debug. Test the baseline too of having debug off. Yeah. Hey, Zico. Have you considered the Asian market? Yesterday, I saw a video of an indie developer discussing how his game received a significant boost because of it. He advertised the game in Asian YouTube. Don't remember the name. Got a lot of people playing the game. Yeah, I have considered it. I do want to launch in Asian markets. There are publishers that have reached out to me specifically about Asian markets, and I have been saying, like, I want to figure this out for myself at first because I don't know exactly what it takes, and I wouldn't know how to reach out to influencers there. But here's the thing. Publishers will like get your game into those markets and then also do some marketing. I think we can probably do this ourselves and then rely on a marketing firm to do the marketing. So yeah, I'll have to look into that. All right, so finish release tool. Worked on cheats for playtesters. Pre-COVID times. They might be coming back. Enough people cheat in interviews, maybe. And they'll start flying people out again. All right, well, now we have the very difficult decision to make of, do I stop the stream for lunch or do I blitz my way through lunch? It is 12:12. I do plan on streaming after lunch. I want to finish this at the very least. I want to get all this stuff off my list because it's not even Tuesday anymore. I only just realized this should be under the Thursday section. Or no, Wednesday. What am I talking about? I am going nuts. Matt was right. And then I had this note to raid Syndra at the end. Work on publishing a playtest version for people. I want to start hardening this process. Oh, balancing adventures and stuff? Yeah, we gotta do that. Are we still within the 500 USD budget? Yes. We have spent about $250 spent on the game. I've never shared what the Botland budget was, but let me just say it was more than $500 and the game pulled in $700 of revenue. So you can probably assume it was more than $700 as well, and you'd be right. As in, it was a net drain on finances. I think Skeleseller will be the opposite, but I don't know to what extent. Made a profit? No, not made a profit. Made no profit with this entire company in the last decade. It has all been negative. I'm a businessman. A video I saw, you don't reach out to influencers directly. He did talk to some company. Yeah. And like I said, I'll probably go that route, at least in Asian markets, because I assume I wouldn't have a lot of credibility reaching out in English. Like that alone would already be a negative. Yeah. Waiting for profit when accounting for time. Always just waiting for profit. Okay, yeah, I think I'll take a proper lunch break. So, all right, I'll probably be gone for about an hour, and then after, we'll probably do another like 2 to 3 hours of streaming. I've been taking very few breaks lately, and in the 3 hours and 39 minutes from today, I took a 3-minute break. So I've streamed for 3 hours and 36 minutes, and it was productive. But yeah, now it's starting to flag, and now we're gonna get our lunch. Let me move this down. Thursday. Okay, there's one little thing I want to check on. I said I would raid Syndra. I don't think they're streaming right now. Can I mute this? Yeah, they're not streaming right now. I think they're going to stream this evening though. So yeah, I'll just end the stream for now. Well, as usual, thank you all for watching. I will hopefully see you after lunch. And here is the Steam link if you want to check it out. Find some YouTube videos. All right, bye.